Warning. The following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticless or its users. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? What's up? What is up, everybody? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Criticless Cast Unhinged. We're back. We are live. We are doing the thing. And today we are going to be reviewing Final Destination Bloodlines. This is the return of a franchise that we haven't seen since at least the 2000s, I think. I don't know, but I'm sure Matt will update us. He's our horror guy. But this is our horror month, and so this is our second one in a row. Last week did not go over too hot. Clown in a Cornfield was not very well received by all three of us, or at least from moderate and below. So, and it seems like in the app, at least, it's so at best, and not a whole lot of people saw it. But I think that this is a different scenario, being that this is an already established franchise. It's a pretty big one at that, and it's been dormant for quite a while. When I ended up searching it online, the first thing that popped up was like, is there going to be another Final Destination? When was the last one? Like, there was a bunch of interesting queries around this series in general. So I am excited to be talking about a franchise that really got its start when we were young. So that's actually a cool thing too, versus some of these other horror series that have been around for ages. But before we get into all that, I do want to introduce my co-hosts, because I have here with me Mr. Christopher Cowles. Hello. Who is very having a lot of trouble. He's struggling. The struggle is real over here. And Mr. Matthew Verlack.
What's up, everybody?
So yeah, we have the whole squad in here. Per usual, everybody's back. Chris is done with his cross-country expedition to find new wives, at least for a short period. He's nice and browned, and his Hispanic undertones are showing. So, and hopefully today we will be completely problem-free. If they happen, it's probably going to be or at least due to SteamYard, because they suck. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm still waiting for Mo Zamboni, who's on a Monday Hangover with me. He's actually doing a whole series right now, going through all of the similar services to find one that's better than the one we use. Nice. So I'm waiting.
Yeah, we need that.
we absolutely need that. Everyone in the community needs that. So I'm curious to see what he dredges up. And hopefully we'll have him live in the studio as well, because he lives close to us. So we'll see what Mo churns up with his video series. But I think what we're going to do first is the same thing we have been doing first of late, which is to educate the boomers. And I said that we had this all figured out. Now, this is the part where there's headphones required and all sorts of other things that are different from the usual. So we'll see how smoothly this actually goes. Matt, do you want to add our TikTok? Because that's how you educate boomers, is you bring up TikTok. Now, last week, we did a little different approach to last week, and I might touch on that at the end of this very lightly, because it's a little bit of Criticless housekeeping, but we will see. But I think we need to keep things light and easy to kick things off. Chris is probably going to be on a little bit of a lag, which is going to be super trippy. No, we sound on
just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's when that happens and I'm talking and I have it in my ears, I'm just like I can't.
I do that all the time anyways, so
that's true.
Nothing new there.
Yeah, it wigs me out. So I'm going to start with the biggest viral thing that I came across, which is what happened to this unfortunate individual.
Il a failli se niquer, mais je crois qu'il va se niquer le skin.
My dude is going through a full-blown struggle session right now. Like, this is something you see in movies, but you never actually encounter. Oh, there goes the drawers.
Oh.
And look at him. completely silent. Like my dude didn't, no face, no facial expressions, nothing.
Oh, he knows. He's like, this is so embarrassing. He's probably like scared too.
Right. He's, my dude's just sitting here watching him.
Yeah,
Like,
his bro is just man.
Cracking up.
now this is, I'm kind of thinking about this watching this, and I'm like, at this point, like you're stuck, your pants are coming off. Like, do you just go completely upside down and just start shaking? You're just like, I'm getting these things off. Like
Yeah.
I'm going.
I'd definitely do that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I would do in this situation.
Matt would-
I don't know. I guess I would do that. I would want to get down as fast as possible because I'd be dying of embarrassment.
And I
Yeah.
think Matt too, just knowing Matt, he would be the exact same as this guy. No expressions, just like
I'm getting beat by a fence.
yeah.
No inanimate object can kill me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because I mean you're like, all right, well, if I turn upside down, give it a good shimmy, pants are gonna fly off, shoes are gonna fly off, but I'm at least out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then you can probably climb back up to grab your stuff.
Right. And the shoes aren't coming off. I really want to know what happened after that.
He must have just fallen. I mean, I would fully just imagine he eventually falls off and gets his stuff and just goes on from there.
But do you go for round 2 to try and get your pants back, or do you just accept defeat and move on? Walk home in your boxers.
I'll climb up a little bit. I mean, you don't have to go all the way back over. You just have to get up high enough to like.
Are you going to risk it though?
You're right.
At this point, you've been hanging out for 5 minutes. Why not?
If they were ripped, I'd leave them.
Oh, well, they're 100% ripped.
Yeah, I would assume they are too, unless he's got some seriously strong jeans.
Tell me what jeans you got.
I mean, he might have some good denim, but the way that denim was stretching, I'm thinking, no, I don't think these are the old school style. But I mean, this thing, so just for reference, this video had 48 million views.
That's so wild.
Crazy. So there's a combination here, and it falls in that social media sweet spot. First of which, there's no speaking that matters.
Right.
If there's no language barrier, it goes out to like 10 times the people.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no language barrier, which is the big catch there. And it's comedy. So
true.
With that kind of double whammy, that's how you get a video to blow up. But I was looking to see how many likes. Yeah, and even 3.9 million likes, which is like a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of likes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one totally worth talking about. But this thing right here.
Is that a possum? Aw, poor buddy. Oh no. Traumatized.
They're done.
Oh, kind of looks like her.
Yeah.
You know, they look like they're pets.
Right.
The makeup makes her look fake.
Well, the one holding her.
It's the nail.
Yeah.
Nail done.
Jeez. Looks like her.
That's fucked up.
The girl at the end, I don't know if y'all heard her, she's literally just like, that's fucked up. Like very quietly. You can hear it at the tail end.
The makeup makes her look fake.
Look at nail.
What in Alabama or West Virginia?
Right.
Like, how did they capture a possum and like get it all dolled up like this?
Dude, I have no idea. Shit's wild. I freaking love it though. I mean, only in the internet age, like, do you get graced with something so absolutely ludicrous?
Yeah.
And I mean, this thing, 23 million views.
Yeah, because this is ludicrous.
It really is. Like, I mean, that's awesome right there.
I just feel bad for the possum. man.
Right. I mean, I don't know. That possum's probably living a good life.
Makes her look fake.
I guess. Zipper has.
The cross eyes. By the way, we've talked about Chris's mail order bride. Very similar in appearance.
Yeah, sure.
Just foreign.
Yeah.
Right.
Just foreign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Very, very similar to this possum.
Possum like.
Yeah. God, that
She
tail.
do
dude.
like trash. She likes me.
Where she's grabbing, I'm like, you're getting really close to dangerous territory where that thumb is.
That thing's got to be her pet, though.
Oh,
like she must have just raised that from like a little baby.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a pet and just
It's just
does
chilling.
whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, the pet owners that do this to their pets are the same kind that'll like eat food off to their face or like, stick their fingers up their butts.
Yeah.
They're weird people, okay? So yeah, there is no danger zone for them.
Yeah, that's true. There isn't. They think these are fully like just tamed creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want to,
Yeah.
and that's what they think.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. So I this was ridiculous when I saw it. I showed it to the kids, and they had never seen, or at least I think I showed it to Clark, and he had never seen a possum up close. And the second that he saw that tail, he was just like, "What is that?" He was just like mortified. So I was like, "All right, this is a good one.
It's a
Definitely."
North Carolina thing.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, caveat.
Yeah,
Come on.
caveats throwing shade.
I mean, you're not wrong, but come on, man.
Right. That is honestly, or some Texas for sure, Alabama.
Really, we'll just eat it.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
that's
true.
more of a North Carolina
Well, and
thing.
that's what Banjo said. You know, he's like, barbecue that thing up
Yeah.
later. You know,
Exactly.
That's why this is more of like a West Virginia, Alabama kind of thing.
right.
So
Which I mean, yeah,
Mm.
I have no idea. That it is wild though. But so a while back, I actually we had a discussion about just Walton Goggins and his which here he is in this video. I'm not going to show this one because we'll probably get struck if I show this. But his hairline and the fact that he just zero shits. You know, my guy's hairline's running up.
Yeah,
and so I mean the hairline struggle is real. The older you get, the hairline just it works its way right on up your head. If you're a dude, I mean, I don't know how much chicks have that issue. They don't really seem to like we do.
yeah, I don't think they really do.
They don't
but
really
they
go
can
through balding.
They can bald though.
They
Oh,
can.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So I mean, which I saw a thing the other day. Supposedly, one of the big schools has done some research, and they have found some sort of chemical product, some sort of something that has found that actually when you start to lose hair, all of those follicles are still there. All of that stuff can actually be reignited, and you can actually put
reunited,
not reunited. Well, I mean that is what people would be singing if their hair would come back magically. Yeah. But supposedly it brings back the hair follicles.
Really
sprout right out where the hair used to be. So maybe that'll hit the market, and that would be pretty amazing.
That'll never hit the market. Why would they want to sell something like that?
Right.
You know how much money they make off wigs, toupees,
right?
Snake oils.
The big wig market. What am I calling it?
You dumb as hell, boy.
Did it. So speaking of domes, the struggle is real, and this guy, he's living the struggle.
Give me a glass. I'll take his no. Oh shit.
It's real, bro.
Oh man, a 5-head.
Yes. See the two people wearing hats at the table here.
I mean,
look at mine. Look, I'm just showing mine off. Look at this. Look at this.
Show it
on it.
Show
Zoom
it
in on it, man.
Yeah, zoom in. There. Hey,
yeah.
mine's working its way back. I mean, it's going up there. Mine's been doing that since I was in like high school. Like it's just
mine's not in the front. Mine's up here. I got this nice little bald spot, or it's balding spot. It's like a couple hairs hanging in there, hanging tight.
Yeah, lucky you, because mine is it's on its way out. Holy cow, we got Melanie in here. What up? Glad you caught us live. This is we haven't caught her in here. And that is a thing that I haven't done yet, is to say what's up to all of our people live. We got Troy up in here, always doing God's work, sharing our stuff. And thanks, homie. And we've got the usual Spud Specs in here. We got Sin's Corner. What up? She has always already seen the movie and is like working on her review for it while watching this. So,
but she was saying she hasn't. She has never seen any Final Destinations.
Holy crap.
And she was playing with the idea of watching maybe the series.
Interesting. So. Well, you've got like 5 movies to see.
This will be the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 movies to see before you start this next Final Destination. So that will be interesting. And curious to hear about your journey. But we got Crisco in here. We got Miss Criticless. We got Wine Fiend. We got Banjo Sandwich. What up, homie? I know you've been going through a struggle fest today, and we're out here. We're feeling it for you, homie.
Struggle bus?
Yeah, they've been. Oh my God.
I always look this way. My hairline is fine.
I think I should have warned them about the jump scare.
It literally looks like a wig. Like,
nah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is totally normal. So,
I think that needs to be the new do.
All right. I can rock this.
That's the way to go.
It hides the receding.
That's how you hide the receding.
It's the front come over.
Yeah. I love it. That's beautiful. I love it. So last little thing I wanted to touch on as far as educating the boomers. This really isn't an education for any boomers, honestly. I did want to bring this up because we actually, this could be good news or terrible news for any of the boom booms. Is I've been talking about this for months and months and months because I'm just hyper curious. They are finally working on a He-Man movie, a Masters of the Universe film.
Yeah, it's been done.
It has. I mean, there's a masterpiece that's already been created.
True.
We watched it. It's great.
Yeah, it's a work of art that many people despise. But all I gotta say is that when the major plot point, the whole crux of the film is around a synthesizer. It's the best movie ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying that a synthesizer that can open portals into alternate dimensions, universes. I mean,
that's the kind of 80s sci-fi I'm here for.
Absolutely. You literally got to play like a rock tune on a little synthesizer, little tube. Freaking awesome. So they're making the movie, and some stuff's been leaking because they're filming it. And so I got some footage here for you guys. I'm not going to play the song because we will get hit. But there's Tila. She looking all right. You know, she got the
you missed the pause timing.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
You keep trying to pause on her booty.
I'm trying. I couldn't pause on
her. Oh my god, that's
He-Man.
He-Man?
So that is He-Man. And
is this like transformation or something? Because that is not a He-Man.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Now that is so. This guy, I've shown pictures a while back. This guy was scrawny, little, dark-headed. When he got cast, everybody was like, "Dear God, no, this is not He-Man. What are you doing to us?" And so this is him. He got absolutely fucking jacked.
He looks ripped.
He's
into that shirt.
He was small. Like, I mean, at least like smaller than Chris.
That's ridiculously small. Let's not insult the man that badly. Jeez.
No, he was like very skinny dude, kind of did the teen romancy type things.
Sure.
And then some pictures came out and everybody was like, holy shit, my dude is roided up. And so
if you're transforming that fast, it's the roids.
He's on something. But Tila, though, we do get some of her costume. Obviously, we see that he's in like Earthling clothes. But Tila is in the OG costume, which I think looks fairly accurate and pretty good. It's even got the collar. You can barely see it for just a second there, but she looks kind of like the original character. There's He-Man. I don't know. We'll see. The biggest concern from everyone is the fact that this takes place on Earth once again, which is not the He-Man thing.
Right.
For sure.
So
I wonder if they're going to try to do more like the Thor thing, which I guess He-Man had already done also.
Right.
But like, why not just do it on another planet? So many sci-fi movies don't take place on Earth.
My hope here is that it's just a small portion of the film.
Right.
And that they abandon, like, it's not all on Earth. That would be the smart thing to do. Even the 80s film took place in both. It's just that most of the movie was on Earth.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. The sword looks decent. I don't know. The biggest concern is it being on Earth, and we obviously haven't seen him in his He-Man suit. So
sure,
this is just street clothes. But I'm not going to be like the typical internet and just crap all over this just because a little bit of leaked footage and seeing it on Earth. It's like, we don't know the details. We don't know whatever. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, Tila looks all right. I like the actress. She was from Riverdale. She's a good actress. She's pretty hot. Tila was always hot in the old cartoon. So, you know, but the other big beef with it was that she's a Hispanic chick and Tila was a real redhead, and the whole Hollywood redhead recasting situation that happens.
The redheads have been kicked out of Hollywood.
They're getting eradicated. But I don't know if you guys have seen, I actually did, I meant to save it and I forgot, but there's another big thing that we could educate everyone on, which is right now on TikTok. There's this huge fad that's going around. I don't think I've saved any of them on my account. But it's this big joke about how this older black lady was going around saying that gingers are actually black. And so now there's all these videos of black people and gingers together, and they're just like, we're the same. Like,
I did see one, and he was like, cool. So now that I'm invited to the cookouts,
right.
These are my spices. What am I making?
Right. Exactly.
And I didn't get the reference fully. I just thought maybe that like person was like married to a black person or something. That's how I was getting invited to the cookouts. But that makes more sense. And I think now I'm putting it together.
It does. It's a very funny little thing that's going on. So if you see any videos that seem really weird and it's gingers and black people, that's what's going on, is that they have been dubbed. They have been brought into the fold.
That's
so
fair.
I don't know how or why, or I had never heard the actual explanation for any of it. But, you know, that's what's happening. on the interwebs, and the explanation is from the TikTok kid. You're welcome. So I think that's everything for our educating boomers segment here. As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt, you can go ahead. We can take
onto the news.
TikTok. And that means we're going to the news, and it means that we can take off these headphones. My ears are hot.
Yeah, they are.
Wild how fast your ears get hot wearing those headphones. I feel like we might have talked about this last time, but it's true. Like we're like 10 minutes with those on, and my ears are sweating.
Oh yeah, they're burning up. Like it's terrible. I don't know how people do it. I don't know. And Melanie asks, so is it true? I don't know. I want to know from Melanie. Maybe she knows. I don't know the explanation. So who has any idea? But yeah, so all right, on to the news, guys. Listen, there's some crazy things happening in the news. Actually, I did want to bring up because it had just popped up. Oh, I'm not plugged in, so I can't screen share. Can you get it, Matt?
Put it in there, Matt.
So put it in, Matt. Get it in there. So what I was going to bring up is on the way here, actually, I got a notification on my phone. I don't have the article pulled up, but that we are getting a sequel to drumroll Passion of the Christ.
The Passioner.
The second coming.
Hey, that's
there you go. Jesus did come multiple times.
So, well, if we all die, we don't know that, Matt.
I'm the closest to the window. Okay,
get away from him.
I'm gonna ground myself real quick. Hold on.
That'll be the first time or the last time.
Yeah. So let me see. The name of the movie, I literally wasn't even planning on talking about it, and it popped up in my mind as we started the news. So yes, Mel Gibson is the one that actually he teased this. Yeah, he teased this on Joe Rogan recently. They're calling it, I think, Resurrection of the Christ. So it is happening. And if you weren't around during the time when this movie came out, it made a truckload of money. They made it for like $30 million, and then it made like $800 million.
Wasn't it Mel Gibson? I almost said Mel Brooks, but that would have been hilarious.
That would be hilarious. Yeah.
It was
would
Mel
sound
Gibson,
more like Matt's
right?
joke if it was Mel Brooks.
Right.
So
it was Mel Gibson.
He directed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So apparently the sequel is actually, he's back to direct. Lionsgate's doing it. And we are also the lead actor who was in it last time. I'm trying to remember his name and find him in here, and I'm not seeing it. But the lead actor who played Jesus is also going to be back. So it's like a full reuniting of it. They're saying that it is going to be
I'm going to start singing again.
Right. It's going to be around the resurrection. It's interesting. I figured I'd bring it up because it's kind of wild, and it was a huge deal back in the day when.
Talk about bringing up a sequel way after the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, that came out in what, 2007, 2008? So we're talking almost, by the time they do it, it'll be 20 years later.
Also, if it's just the resurrection, like, wasn't a whole lot of time there. Like, I mean, see him coming out of the cave.
He farts around for 3 days and then does something, right?
Right.
Well, he's in the cave for 3 days.
He's alive I say he's supposed to be after he comes out of the cave. It's like a while, right? Yeah. It's like a month or something.
I don't know.
We were talking about that recently. I was talking with Sid because I was asking the same thing. I was like,
nobody
ever talked about it. Nobody talks about it.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing really happened.
He just like resurrected, was like, and then he just like flies up to heaven. Like,
I'm a ghost.
Yeah, that's what. But apparently, according to my wife recently, when I asked her about this exact thing, she said, because I couldn't remember, and so because I watched that Easter movie recently, that was an animated. Yes, that one's about Jesus, also known as Russell Brand, who plays a rabbit. But yeah. Yeah. Anyways, deep cut on that one. Matt said hop. It's a Easter movie.
I thought you just said
it's a movie about Easter.
I didn't hear the
rabbit.
Hop. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It is.
So do you have any other news for us?
He farts around. He spends 3 days in hell. See, I don't remember that either. I don't feel like
he
that's
just farts around in a cave, you know.
Yeah. As one does in hell. You just fart around for a little while, and then you're like, I'm out of here. This place
I mean, if you're
sucks.
Jesus, you probably do. You're probably like kicking it with all the angels that fell, right? Isn't that the thing?
Yeah.
So he's probably just kicking it with his homies from down there.
See, Cave City says it was a month at least. Acts says he teaches people for a while and then ascends to heaven. So there we go. That was what
Did they have a send-off party?
Who knows? That's what I want to know. He's just like, all right, as much on the go, guys. I got like 2 days left. And
true actual Last Supper, folks.
Yeah.
Line up.
Yeah.
Right. So
I've seen the pictures. Yeah, they had a sending off.
Yeah.
A lot of people watching them.
Right.
Ascend.
Yeah. So I have no idea, but this is happening.
Interesting.
So yeah, the cave is diabolical. Says so. Yeah, or Melanie. So I have no idea. So yeah, what the other news here? So they're talking about a Gears of War movie again.
Huh.
If you are not familiar, Gears of War is a very famous video game series, which I just call Gears of War. But yes, it's happening. The biggest part of this news is that David Leitch is in talks to direct this, and he's an excellent director. The guy is really good. And so with him being attached to this, it's raising hopes. Now, I saw articles saying that like this one is headlined and it says he's in talks. I saw another one saying that he's on board. This is how this kind of thing goes when the news comes out, is you're like, I don't really know what the real deal is here. Like if it's really that he signed on, sometimes it's just like an internal rumor kind of thing. But yeah. So the fact though that that David Leitch is on board for this, he recently did he's a notorious stunt guy, kind of a director. So he recently did that Ryan Gosling movie that blew up, that Fall Guy. So yeah, and he did Bullet Train. So it's that guy.
I like Bullet Train.
Yeah. He's been attached to the Deadpool movies and the John Wick movies. And so he is like, he's a guy that you would want making a action heavy dude bro kind of film.
Sorry, I was still thinking about Passion of the Christ too. I was like, yeah, we should have him direct that.
Right.
Action packed.
We just watched Jesus fight Satan in hell for like 3 days.
Actually,
now we're talking.
No. Actually,
Doom guy.
This is John Wick 5. This is my whole premise for John Wick 5.
Yeah, that was your premise for John Wick 5, is that he goes to hell and he fights the devil.
Exactly. And he fights his way out of hell because he has unfinished work to do. And boom, he comes back in Nazareth, wherever he died. And boom, it's Jesus actually.
Yeah.
Boom.
John Wick was Jesus all along.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
And also, Constantine brings him back, and it's himself. We get a new Constantine, and a new John Wick, and a new Passion of the Christ.
Oh,
with our favors combined.
Listen, how we're not working in the industry, I don't know. This is big money here.
Yep.
This is bound to happen.
And it's live and recorded, so when they do this, and they realize it blows up and it's genius,
we're gonna sue them.
It's all us.
Yeah, we're gonna sue the shit out of them.
We got this.
So y'all watch. Everybody heard this live. We came up
trademarked.
Yes, this has been trademarked. But yes, so David Leitch is doing a Gears of War movie supposedly. We'll see if it actually happens. Here's a picture from the game. I have it up on screen, this is the lead character, Marcus Phoenix, and that's David Leitch next to him. But Marcus Phoenix is it's about a bunch of dude bros with chainsaws on their guns and they fight monsters.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. At this point, it's something where they should have done this years ago if they wanted to ride the high of Gears of War. And instead, Gears of War is kind of fallen by the wayside.
Right.
It's not the franchise it used to be. And so by doing a movie even now or in 5 years or 10 years, like you're just making an action movie that they're fighting aliens. It's not going to do well. It's just not. Like I don't think. Maybe the fans will show up, but I just don't think there'll be enough interested parties.
It could reinvigorate the franchise. We've seen things like that before. No guarantee.
Yeah.
It'll have to be very good.
Think about how much more popular Halo was and how not great popular it was as movie, speaking English. And they're doing a movie, not a show for Gears of War.
Yeah. Right now, yes, they are saying that that's what it is. We don't fully know. The other big, and I saw it in the comments as well, is the big thing that says Netflix right there. That is a big concern because as we know, Netflix productions regularly go off the rails or don't end up being what they should be. They're not very good with budgets. They're not very good with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I always like to hold out hope for this kind of thing, but who knows? It being a Netflix thing is the most concerning part, honestly, of this news so far. We'll see. It could be cool.
I mean, if they wanted to learn from the mistakes of the Halo show, they just need to be a lot closer to the source material.
Right.
And I think that's really what hurt the Halo show is they tried to be like a drama with action mixed in. And it should have been almost all action.
All action. Right. And they shouldn't have shown Master Chief's face
at all, ever.
They did like all the no-nos, really, honestly.
They literally did everything the video games had not done, and people praise the video games for not doing.
Right. They're like, hey, we never see the protagonist. We never like all these things. And then they did it on the Halo show, and now it's canceled after 2 seasons, and next to nobody watched it. So we hopefully won't get another repeat scenario of that, but no promises. Now, another piece of news that's probably going to tick off a lot of people because they hate reboots and sequels is that we are getting a prequel to Rambo. First Blood. Now, a lot of people don't realize that Rambo the movie series wasn't called Rambo. It was just called First Blood was the very first movie. And most people think that they've seen the first Rambo and then they haven't when they find out that the first one is First Blood.
Mhm.
Everybody's memories are from the other films.
Right.
Highly recommend watching First Blood. It's freaking badass. Like, it's a excellent movie from that time period, and it's no wonder that Stallone became as big as he is, and just like that the series blew up. But the interesting thing is that first movie was very clearly not made to be like a series. It was a standalone film about trauma to, ex-war people, vets. Yeah, some people call them vets.
Ex-war people is better,
Ex-war
honestly.
people.
Rolls off the tongue a little
I
better.
like to call them vets, because we have veterinarians and it gets confusing. I don't really want to confuse people, and
That's
so
fair.
we just call them ex-war people around here.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Ex-war.
It's a little clearer.
So this is going to be about a current war person, if it's a prequel to that film. So this is they're calling. Well, I don't even know if they have a name for it yet. Now, the interesting thing that I saw here is that it's going to be by the director of Sisu. If you didn't see this movie, it was kind of a hyper gore war movie, killing Nazis kind of situation. I wasn't crazy about it. A lot of people liked it a lot. I gave it like a 50 or something because it felt a bit messy. But the action and stuff was very good. It was gory. It was over the top and all that stuff. So it was fun. Yeah. But the question here for me really comes down to who the hell is playing a young Sylvester Stallone?
Doesn't he have a son? No, he's just got a bunch of daughters, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a bunch of daughters.
It could be his daughters.
All of them. All of them playing the character.
That's his tragic backstory, was that he was a woman. Right. And then he got kicked out of the military. He got kicked out of the military. Well, you got to line it into the first movie somehow. I got shoehorned it somehow here.
Yeah.
So he gets kicked out of the military because he's a woman, and then he's like, I don't want to be a woman anymore, or something like that. And so that's why he's wandering through the Pacific Northwest when the police kick him out of the little town or whatever happened in the first movie.
It's very progressive.
Right. Yeah.
I like it.
It's a very progressive take on Rambo. And actually in here, I was looking, they do have a name for it. It's called John Rambo. And this is clearly like very much happening. They're apparently going to start filming in Thailand in October and doing principal photography. So this is happening soon.
Thailand.
Right.
It's in line with
Lady Boys. Is that a Lady Boy joke, Chris?
Yes, it is. Not a joke. It's serious.
It's completely serious. Yes. And apparently Millennium Media is putting this out. It's the guys who have done the blah, blah, blah has fallen, like Olympus has fallen. All those films.
Atlas.
And then Hitman's Bodyguard, The Expendables. It's that studio that's doing this. So those studios are known for falling into less of the modern Hollywood tropey kind of crap that people hate. So maybe that's a good sign. But, they're just basically saying, hey, we're thrilled to introduce this. This is definitely happening. We've got the director. So, but I don't think in here it says who is playing the character, but they do have the guy who did the script, which actually kind of concerns me because one of them is the guy that did Black Adam. We saw that movie. Not great. One of the biggest problems was the script.
I don't know if it was
The Rock was
the biggest issue with the CGI.
That is true. That actually, you're not wrong about that.
But then again, I can't tell you what the story was at all.
No.
Yeah.
Dr. Fate was cool. That was that's all.
Dude, he was so cool. I want to see more of
Dr. Fate. Oh,
yeah, but
Pierce
also
Brosnan.
Pierce.
Old Pierce.
Piercey.
Bros, man.
Yeah, he pierced my heart as a kid.
Yeah.
Wait. My heart. Yeah.
That all you pierced?
Heart.
So this is interesting news. Like I said, I'm worried that a lot of people are. Well, I say worried. Whatever. People are going to have opinions about this, and people are gonna bitch about it because everybody complains about prequels, sequels, so on and so forth. It just happens.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, you really need to just kind of let dead horses lie. Is that what they?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Can't stop beating dead horses.
Right.
Just leave the horses alone, please.
Freaking horses, man.
Jeez.
But then again, they could do a really cool take on you saw warfare. I mean,
sorry, I was just piddling on the table and I realized that I was rolling around a dead stink bug in my hands and didn't notice. And it was
an appropriate reaction.
It was really gross. It just happened. And I was like looking around, I was like, why is this thing falling apart in my hands? And then I looked down, I was like, that's a dead stink bug. Ooh. Really gross.
What I was saying.
Sorry, man.
Could do really cool because you saw warfare. So just imagine a warfare, but it really just kind of focuses on Rambo just being getting traumatized.
Sounds like a keeper.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Warfare is one of those movies that I will never watch again for as long as I live. It was hard to watch. I don't know how people who have been in military can watch that, or at least in we call them ex-war people around here.
Yeah,
Those
Mhm.
folks. I don't know how they watched that if they saw live
Action.
action,
Yeah.
like if it was, if they were on the front lines or anything else, because that movie was rough. And I literally at one point like had to leave and was just like, I need to get a breath of fresh air. I'm gonna get a water, and just like it was the hardest thing I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, because I saw like an interesting showing, and we weren't gonna do the podcast, but I thought about messaging you guys and just be like, hey, you want to go see this fun war movie? I am so glad I didn't message you guys. Chris would have like been just like,
fetal position.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it was I was that way, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever watched, which is wild because the way that the movie Warfare starts out is like phenomenal. It's great. It's just, I don't want to spoil it, but it's such a great start because they want to start at a high with like the levity, and then they just slap you across the face and ruin your life for the next like hour and a half. So
Yeah, I'll pass on that probably.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that is most of the news that I was going to cover. There is one interesting thing, and it's about a movie that I want us to see. I'm very excited about it. It's another horror, or at least it is a horror, but like kind of almost horror adjacent film. It's called Together. It stars Alison Brie and Dave Franco, and they're married in real life. So that's kind of a cool thing when husbands and wives actually like act together. I think that it works out well if they have good chemistry and that kind of thing for on screen. And they're both great actors. And so, but I've heard amazing things about it. Everyone that I've seen, though, is the big thing. If you start to see a trailer for this Together movie, everyone has already seen it, that saw it at the film festivals, is like, you don't want to know anything. Stay as far away as humanly possible from the trailers. Like, regardless of the type of trailer, it will ruin things for it. So
cool.
It is supposed to be very, very cool.
Yeah.
Trailers really are the worst.
Also, real quick,
Yep.
Epsilon Semi-Moron
Yes.
says that the mother and the kid were the problems with it.
Yes.
And I do remember now
I
the
do
kid
remember
was
that.
the worst.
It was like they tried to add in some like human characters as like that kind of a situation, and it was really bad.
It was bad.
Yeah,
I don't remember any of that. I just know
Sort
Black
of
Adam's the
pressure.
villain and he shouldn't have his own movie.
Yeah, that as well. And it's like, and it didn't tie into any of the Shazam stuff, which was just like, what are we doing here?
Oh yeah,
like that
spoiler, but
he's-
Superman shows up instead of Shazam at the end. Like what the fuck?
Everything about that movie was a train wreck. Like it was, I was not a fan. Well, I say everything about it. I remember there being nuggets of the movie that we liked a lot.
Yeah,
But then there was like a lot that we did not like. So yeah, it had its issues. But so anyways, about the Alison Brie and Dave Franco thing, basically they are getting hit with a copyright suit for $17 million for this movie, because supposedly there was a film called Better Half, which came out in 2023 and is some kind of independent film that's already been released.
Okay.
And they are claiming that this is like a borderline one-for-one like ripoff.
Yeah, but this happens. This is Hollywood. We've talked about this before. For whatever reason, every couple of years, like multiple movies of the same exact type will come out. Like 2 movies about people going up to an asteroid to like blow it up. Like
and they come out like 6 months apart or something crazy.
Right. Or 2 movies about aliens versus cowboys all happening at the same time.
True.
And like this happens all the time in Hollywood. So I don't understand what leg they have to stand on.
Well, so what they're claiming, there's one line here. It says, according to the suit, they were pitched Better Half back in 2020, and they and their WME agents turned it down. And then
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Let's make a movie exactly like that.
Right. And that's the thing, is they're saying that it's fantastic and it's gotten a lot of good results out of it. I hope that this does not screw up the release of this film and make it to where we can't see it. It's not that far off. I was looking in the article to see if we had a date for when it's supposed to come out. And
why don't we just watch the independent one?
August 1st. So, well, that's the thing, is it's like the independent one, it's like, for one, maybe it's not as good, and then it will make this one kind of spoil it if it is that spoilery. Now, I think the interesting thing to do would be to, after seeing this, to then go back and see Better Half and see if the claims line up. And the thing is they will probably try and rush this along, because just to stop it from coming out potentially.
Yeah.
Or the one plus for them could be is if the suit happens after it comes out and the movie ends up making a bunch of money, then they could
True.
pivot with how this suit plays out.
Right. The
and
suit could be
make
like, well,
money.
we want 80% of your profits.
Right, because this
Right.
movie did so well or whatever. So I'm very curious to see what comes out of this. I hope it doesn't ruin us getting to see it, but I thought that this was very interesting. It was a movie I'm excited about.
Yeah.
So it could be a bummer if that happens. So yeah, there's that going on, but I think that is pretty much it for the news, Matt.
All
and
right.
yeah, we can go ahead and get into what we have been watching lately. So now the question when we do this segment is always, has Chris actually seen anything at all? Has he watched anything? And the question really on top of that is, has Chris actually seen like 15 things, even in the last 24 hours, but he doesn't remember experiencing any of them?
This is also plausible. Yeah. I asked myself the same question, which is funny though, because you said Bullet Train, and I forgot that I had rewatched that like 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what the only thing I can remember watching here recently. Yeah,
The
so
consistency is amazing though. Like at least he's reliably consistent in his unreliability.
yeah,
I mean, that's a
consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
unreliable,
Inconsistent.
Yeah,
inconsistent, and
Well,
unreliable. All of the
yeah.
above. I don't even remember what I said was clever at the time, but now I was going to repeat it.
I don't know about
But
that.
yeah, good point. But yes, so you did. How was going back to Bullet Train? You still
Great.
like it?
Yeah, still love it. Yeah.
Have you seen Smoking Aces lately, and is it better or worse? Because Smoking Aces is my favorite of those movies.
You know, we all rewatched it whenever it came on Netflix. Whenever it was, they added it back like a year or
What,
two
Smoking
ago.
Aces?
Yeah.
I didn't actually get to do the rewatch.
Oh, you
with
didn't
something,
rewatch
no,
it?
which I own it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've got a physical of that
Yeah,
one.
same.
Okay. Well, anyways, I know at least Xena and I rewatched it. I thought we all did, but
I sure did.
I did.
I haven't seen this
Yeah.
movie. I haven't seen Smoking Aces in like a gajillion years. Like straight up, I probably haven't seen it in like 10 years at least.
really,
Yeah.
I could have swore you did because we were talking about how Chris Pine is
Right. Is
the
the-
crazy crackhead
Yeah.
person.
And
Yeah.
it's like unrecognizable.
Yeah, he's like a twig.
Yeah.
He's like you skinny in high school.
Right. Yeah. For real.
But I would honestly, controversial take, I'd take Bullet Train over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, Smoking Aces is good, and it was very good for its time.
Right. It kind of set the stage.
Yeah. But I think the story and acting is a little more fun in Bullet Train.
I mean, it has a Brad Pitt in it.
It does have a
I
Brad
mean,
Pitt.
usually if you've got a Brad Pitt, you're winning.
It pays
yeah.
the bills for a long time. And
For sure.
also the other guy, I don't know anybody's name. I won't even say it, but the duo, the brothers,
Tangerine and Lemon.
Tangerine, yes. Tangerine was really good. I like Tangerine.
Aaron.
And Lemon. They're both really good.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, Aaron and Taylor Johnson
Mhm.
and Brian Tyree Henry. Boom.
Nice.
Dude,
God, I'm
cranking
good
out
at
the
it.
names there.
Good big brain.
Every once in a while, I can dredge up names, and they're all in here. It's just I'm getting the older I get, it's harder to
Yeah.
dredge them out of the old sewage tank.
Yeah, I started taking ginkgo.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't do anything. I'm beyond saving at this
You
point.
can't fix
I don't
it.
think
Yeah.
any of that stuff actually works. They
I
just
don't
all
think so
claim it
either.
works for a period
Right.
of time, sell a bunch, and then never talk about it again.
Right.
For another
Wow.
10 years.
Yeah, all the supplements and stuff, which and a lot of people say also with the supplements, it's like your body only really absorbs like a very small percentage of it and all this weird stuff. And
That's why you do so much of it, though. You just
Right.
line it up in a row. Just
tons of it. Yeah. no.
Freebase
Yeah,
cocaine.
my problem is with any kind of supplement, any type of medication, like if there's fine print, it's like, hey, this helps your brain. And like the fine print is like, you're going to have an 87-hour erection. Like that's going to happen to me.
Where's the
Like-
downside?
Yeah, it's just like,
no, you will have the side effect.
oh, absolutely. Like if it had, and if it's literally never happened to anyone ever, it will happen to me.
Yeah.
My dad and my grandpa, we're all three have the same, I don't know what you'd call it.
I think it makes you like mutants or something.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
Upside,
Yeah.
you will eventually have a disease named after you. So it's cool, man. You know, not very many people get to say that.
That is true. That is true. Because there's got to be something. Like I really don't know what it is. Because it is like no joke. Last line fine print. Like it happens. every time I see my dad, he's got
Yeah.
a new thing where he's like, "Yep, tried to take that thing, almost died last week," and you're just like, "Jesus!" And he's like, "I didn't tell you because it happens every week." So you're like, he's just like making this list. I think for me because it's 1 for 1 every
Oh,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Like it is the same exact.
Y'all are
thing.
clones, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's like it's guaranteed to happen. So I just take his list. I'm just like, if it happens to him, then it's guaranteed.
For real.
So anyways, but yeah, so Bullet Train, you like it.
I did.
Still very
I do.
good. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch it. I remember very much enjoying it when we reviewed it a million years ago. And so yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, that's a fun movie. If you haven't seen Bullet Train, watch it. If you haven't seen Smoking Aces, watch it. And probably watch Smoking Aces first simply because like to set the tone and it became first.
Right.
So it happened first. So it's kind of,
and they're both a lot of fun. Like I was actually just looking at Criticless and I give Smoking Ace is an 83 and Bullet Train a 92.
Okay.
But I like to revisit both of them. Like they're both just so ridiculous and fun movies.
They're good times for sure.
Yeah, they really are.
But that's the only thing I've been watching. I did start playing at your recommendation because I think he promised you.
Yes. Expedition 33.
Yeah, Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it.
I do. I had to put it down for a little bit because I'm one of those people that has to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a completionist to a certain degree, but then
which is why you never complete anything.
Exactly.
That's actually I have the exact same problem. I'll be like, this is the best game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
And then I play it too hard. And I do too much of everything to where I'm just like, I have 80 hours in this, and I'm pretty sure I'm like 30% done.
Yeah.
I made a mistake.
And then why I had to step away from it for a little bit is because you can run into things that are out of your scope, and your character will be like, "Ooh, this one looks tough," and I'm like, "I will bash my head against this for hours," and then I'll get annoyed because I'm bad at games and I can't complete it. Then I went back to it, beat it, and so I've moved on.
That is one thing I like about this game is it's cool. Like there are bosses where you will bang your head against, and like it is one of those games where you step away and you come back and you're just like, or like you watch like one YouTube tutorial and you're like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. It's like,
you would do that.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't
Let's watch a video, guys.
Listen, I have kids, and once that happens, it's like time is slim. You know, you gotta prioritize.
That's right.
And so that's one of those things where it's like, because this game also does tricky shit where it does things to confuse you. So it's like about memorizing boss patterns and stuff. So like there was one that I was banging my head against forever. Could not figure it out. And then it turned out that it was because it was tricking you. And what it does is he makes you think
about the trumpet guy.
The trumpet guy.
Yeah.
The fucking guy. He got you too.
Yeah, it took me a little while. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what he does is he swings and you think you get hit, but really he has shot a projectile technically like in the air that then comes down to hit you. And he does it over and over. And you don't realize you think he's hitting you, but he's not. It's like a half a second off. So you're like, reaction time is too early, and that's why you keep getting hit. I couldn't figure out why I was getting hit, and it was driving me insane. And I looked it up, and I was just like, the person's like, this is probably going to get everyone. So you figured it out then on your own?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yes, I didn't look anything up, but I didn't realize that it was actually the bubbles.
There right now.
Still betting it right now in my mind. No, but I just kind of got hit so many times that I just got the timing down. I didn't realize what was hitting me, but I was just like, dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that like boss becomes a regular enemy later that is easy to face because you've leveled up and you might fight like several of them.
Yeah.
And so the game is very cool if you play video games. Expedition 33 is easily
it's
stunning.
Final Fantasy meets Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like not the difficulty level nearly as steep as Elden Ring, I don't think.
Correct. No.
But it's excellent. So did I hear that Xena was starting it up currently?
Yeah, I think she started
playing it
today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, awesome. Well, hopefully she digs it. I think she's gonna love it. It's a great game.
I mean, it is beautiful.
It is
gorgeous.
The art behind it and everything is just it's
and a cool story.
Yeah,
I love that it's French.
Yeah, it's very French.
So oui.
And not like a cringy French either. Granted, there is an outfit that you can get where you carry around a baguette on your back.
True.
So
I was gonna ask.
Yes,
literally. I was like, oh, French, like you can throw baguettes.
Yes, well, you can.
And you have a beret. Yes.
Yeah, and have a beret with a baguette.
Yeah.
You can even get like French swimsuits from the time period. And stuff
I haven't
too.
found those yet.
It's platforming challenges, and they are.
Yeah.
There was one that takes a long time, and I died at the very last jump. And this was like a controller thrower. So I haven't gone back to that one.
See, that's another thing is that it's recommended to be played on a controller and I took the recommendation. I hate controllers.
I know you.
I never play on console.
you change that?
I
Turn it off?
can, but now I've started on the controller, and
Right.
my cat. It's easier for my cat,
Mhm.
so you can just like snuggle up.
Yeah.
Because like on
yeah.
a keyboard, she wants to be like on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And affect
Cat
with
problems.
games.
Yeah, Cat Daddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Matt, what you been watching?
Honestly, not that much. I've just been. We rewatched all the Avenger movies. So
Not that
Not
much.
that much. Only
Just
every Avengers movie.
48
ever.
hours worth of movies. It's
Oh,
fine.
well, it was the last 3,
Oh.
I think.
Oh, just the Avengers, not all Marvel.
No, yeah,
I
just
got
Oh, thought you meant like the whole
it was
saga.
Civil War,
Okay,
Endgame, and what's the other one?
the other one.
The last
Ultron?
2. No, not Age of Ultron.
Endgame.
It was Civil War, and then we went into whatever's before Endgame, and then Endgame.
Okay.
So yeah, and those are obviously a lot of fun. They're
Right, they're
always great to watch. I didn't review any of them yet because I just don't even know how to review them.
Right.
You know, some janky CGI here and there, but like the story, the impact of 30 some movies coming together, like it's hard to like for
Right.
me to judge those movies. I know some people are very like, yeah, I don't like this movie
They
for
can't
whatever
stand
reason.
alone because they're connected to a million other films, and it's like,
Right.
but that's what made them awesome. Like
Exactly.
Right.
you know, it's the one thing I've learned from Criticless more than anything is people differ on their opinions wildly, obviously, but also it is just kind of one of those things where there are people that have very strict rules on their opinions on films, and
yeah.
they never break those rules, and like you can't argue with it, you can't talk to it.
Sure.
It's just like it is what it is. Like you're
That's
just
where
gonna-
I'm like the worst because I really have no like. It's all about how a movie makes you feel.
right, exactly.
That's what it
your
comes
level
down
of
to.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
One movie I can be like, this is terrible CGI. I can't get into this movie.
Right.
And the next movie could have like bad CGI, but I really like the message and I like rate it drastically different just
Right.
because. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they say. You know, opinions are like kids. Everybody's got one trapped in their basement. That's the saying, right? I've heard that so.
That's exactly what all of them say.
Yeah.
I've heard it so many times.
Mm.
So yeah, so we do have a super chat actually.
Yeah.
Matt, if you want to read that.
Sure. Cave Titties with $2. I watched Love Hurts last night. Woof.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I remember his review and it was a bogus, I believe.
So
Saying it was pretty terrible.
I have Love Hurts pulled up currently. If you aren't familiar with it, this recently came out. It's at a 45% on Criticless. Personally, anybody that I know that I've talked to that's seen it, basically all of them did not like it.
Yeah.
So scrolling down, yeah, he gave it a bogus. And follow Caveat Ties on Criticless if you don't already. But yeah, he gave it a 27, says that it's real bad, and he doesn't like it. So, and that seems to be the general consensus. Granted, friend of the show and really cool dude, the Nerdy Ronin, gave it a 61%.
Yeah.
And he's been on the app a long time as well. We've got a lot of decents, but this is one of those movies that clearly is divisive. Like, which granted, it's one of those things
Yeah,
where,
literally most excellent. We have everything here.
yeah,
Brad's
everything
most excellent, Bogus's, Heinous's, literally the whole gambit's here.
It really is. And granted, once you start learning people within the app and their opinions and whatever,
Yeah.
it's like after seeing this score and seeing that Bastard in Black gave it a 86, I know exactly what type of movie this is. None of us would probably like it. And
Right.
like, and that's no shade on Bastard in Black. He's just like, he
Right.
has a very specific way. And it's like, I've learned what he does and doesn't like. And so I know that there's a strong chance that at the most we're going to be like Banjo and be at like a 50 or something. But
Yeah.
honestly, we tend to agree with Caveat Ties pretty good bit as well.
And that's
So-
exactly what the Friends with Benefits for. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So if you haven't set up Friends with Benefits, which I see a lot of people regularly haven't, definitely do that. So yeah, but he had watched Love Hurts and
Yeah.
it says to not watch it.
Yeah.
So I do want to touch on something that I've been watching and it has captured us deeply. And this is a show called Your Friends and Neighbors. This is
Mhm.
starring John Hamm.
Mm.
And I think the title of the show, while fitting, is terrible and like not attention grabbing. Your Friends and Neighbors isn't like a title you hear it and you're just like, and it's not easy to remember. I keep forgetting it when I've talked about it.
Mhm.
I think the title of it's bad.
Yeah.
And we learned something very interesting that I haven't experienced in quite some time, which is how pivotal a theme song and intro sequences.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
The
okay.
song
goes a long ways.
The song is terrible
Oh,
for
no.
the intro sequence. I hope that they
Really?
change it. It's a really bad intro song, and so we skip it every time. Where it's like if you think about shows like Dexter or something, where you're like, I'm gonna listen to this like every time I
Right.
watch this show.
Yeah, True Blood
Severance,
pops into
True
mind.
Blood,
Yeah.
right?
Game of
Severance,
Thrones.
yeah, Game of Thrones. Like there are
Yeah.
ones that stand out and they're great, and it makes the show. This one, excellent show, terrible theme song.
Yeah.
The cool thing is that everything or what sucks is, I guess, is everything during that theme song. It's really entertaining and cool to see.
Mhm.
But
Just
then
a
the
bad
song,
song.
yeah, it's just a bad song.
That's sad.
But I'll say this show has one of the best pilot episodes. Like the first episode
Yeah.
is one of the best episodes of anything I've seen as far as a pilot episode in a long time.
Okay.
Quite often pilot
Wow.
episodes can be kind of mid, or they really can range. Like they're
Sure.
either superb, it's like the first episode of Lost, where everybody's like one of the best pilots ever created,
Hmm.
or I mean, personally,
Never seen it.
yeah, you've never seen Lost. So, but like a lot of people, that's the thing with Lost, and even
Yeah.
Lost first season. But it's almost to a detriment to the show that the first episode is so good because it's hard for it to reach the heights
Yeah.
of that first
Yeah.
episode,
Sure.
because it is just a tight episode. Like it
Yeah.
is expertly written, fantastically directed. Like it is just a spot on pilot.
It's like doing heroin, right? Chasing that dragon
You
forever.
can't, yeah, you can't ever get
Yeah.
that first experience.
Yeah.
And I am curious. I haven't done a ton of digging, but like also quite often for shows, the pilot episode will be directed by someone that never touches the show again. Like they will set up they might be the showrunner, and they might set up the concept, the whole deal, and then never direct an episode, or they might do like one episode a season.
Yeah, and then they get like
They get
touted
royalties.
as like the lead of the show.
Yeah,
and
they're
all
the
that.
creator, they're the
Yeah.
showrunner.
Yeah.
And so that's the nice thing I've heard with how Hollywood works is actually like if you are a showrunner and or like if you direct the first episode of a show that does well,
Mhm.
you constantly get paid. Like, and
sure.
so that's the thing is you're constantly attached to this regardless of if you ever touch it again.
Right.
And so that's the one nice thing about if you launch a successful show.
Okay, so back to this show.
Yes.
What's it about?
Yeah.
Because like, if you're saying like the title doesn't do anything to describe it.
No, it does describe it well. It just doesn't do the show justice for catching attention.
I want to guess before you tell
Go
me.
ahead.
I immediately thought of something bad. Like there's a murderer.
Oh, murder.
Yeah, because it's like it's always the people know. You
Uh-huh.
know, it's like your friends and
Mhm.
neighbors.
Ah.
They're the ones that do the
That is an-
murdering and stuff.
Excellent guess.
Yeah.
Excellent. Spot on.
See, I was thinking it was like Mr. Rogers going
Oh.
here.
Right. No. I wish that all the photos for the show weren't just different languages versions of it, like amigos y vencinos. Like it's just a ton of different language versions of it. But
Right.
anyways, I was going to show some pictures, but so it stars John Hamm playing a perfect role for John Hamm.
Yeah.
It is just spot on for him. He's
Yeah.
a rich, well-to-do kind of a stock bro.
Okay.
But the interesting thing, one of the things that because Sid and I are watching this together, we've watched it every night for the past week, and we're already caught up. Like, and it's had 9 or 10 episodes. Like,
Sure.
we've been hooked. I don't think she has stayed as hooked as she was with the first episode. She was like obsessed.
Mm.
I think she still likes it, but like I said, it's kind of that chasing the dragon. That first episode is just so good.
Right.
But the show is still great. But this show, especially in the first episode, the way it's set up, you're like, holy shit, this is the next Breaking Bad. Like that's what
Okay.
this show
Mm.
is.
Okay.
So really what the show is about is it's about this guy who's in finance, and he
Finance.
he
6 foot.
he has to break bad essentially. He loses the finance job, and basically the whole thing is about when you're in this world of like making this level of money, you're making god tier money.
Yeah.
But all of these people are always wildly over leveraged. And so like their lifestyles get bigger and bigger, and it goes through that. And he's like, we were at this stage, and then we were at this stage, and we were at this stage. And it's like you get to this point where you're like living the life. But if you lose the job,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
You lose one thing.
Yeah.
It's dominoes.
even if your savings is great,
Right.
like you just like you're
Sure.
so deep in it that you lose your ass within like 6 months.
Right.
Mhm.
And so what happens is he's like, I'm in this gated community. Nothing bad ever happens. All of these people are richer than God.
Mm.
I know what everybody has. I know how to get into these people's houses. I
Mhm.
know when they're gone, where they're at, what they're doing. I can steal one item from each of these fuckers and no one will ever know. It's pretty brilliant.
No.
Yeah.
Well, because the whole point is it's like the thing is like, oh, these guys have like this one dude might have this one watch that's like, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And he never touches it. It's in a drawer.
Yeah.
And like, he's never going to wear it because you don't wear this watch. You just pass it down to your kids.
Sure. Right. You look at it every once in a while and go, hey, I have this watch.
Right. And you're like, I have a giant wiener because I have this watch. And therefore,
John Hamm does have a giant.
He does have a giant wiener. Yeah. But yeah, this show does have a pretty good amount of sex, which is interesting because you don't see that as much lately.
Yeah.
But it's not super graphic. But let me go ahead and tell all you guys that Olivia Munn's in this show. And
wow, I haven't seen her in a while.
I hadn't either, and she's still banging. Still looks great, and she's in it, does a great job. They're kind of two of the bigger leads, but this show's great. But one of the things I was going to say is this is not written like a modern Hollywood show, where like most modern Hollywood shows, it's like, oh, this is a rich white dude, finance guy, whatever. He's going to be a sack of shit. Like, it's just, you just think about modern Hollywood writing, how tropey they've gotten, how predictable. Like, this guy's going to be the biggest douche. It's going to be his fault that he's, so the other thing is like, he's divorced, and that's why all of this also has spiraled.
Sure.
And so like, all of the things that you would expect from modern Hollywood, this story does not do at all. It's not here to shit on rich people. It's here to just be like, people like these, more money, more problems.
Right.
Like, these people are in some shit too, and they put themselves in too deep. And it's not just white people; it's all kinds of people. It's, it is very current in that way, which is good, so that they don't have to lean on some of the cheesiness of a lot of modern Hollywood stuff, where they're just like shitting on white people or shitting on men or whatever constantly.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't do any of that. So it's so well written. It's believable. Like, I'm just wildly impressed. And this is on Apple TV. I'm constantly hyping Apple TV and how well their stuff has been lately.
Yeah, you are.
So this is another Apple TV show that's just a banger.
Okay.
So and they're saying that it's got 9 episodes, which means that the next episode is the finale, and it's coming out Friday. So I think it's excellent. It's a very well written show. And
I'd be curious, because I mean, we had, I think, a review in Criticless. I don't know if people are just waiting for the finale to
maybe people. Well, that's the thing, is I actually didn't think it looked good.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see it, but I was like, I bet Sid will like this. It just didn't seem like it was going to be my type of show. Right. And then we both watched the first episode and we're like, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah.
And like I said, the name isn't appealing. The advertising hasn't been really that appealing.
Yeah.
Like, there is a gritty level to this. There's the stealing. There's the getting involved with crime. There's the getting deeper and deeper once you get in this rabbit hole. And what happens when you're selling these big item ticket like things, what you have to do to actually offload them and all of that. It's really interesting. I think it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, this is a very good show. I highly recommend watching your friends and neighbors, especially if you have Apple TV.
Yeah.
There's enough shows on Apple TV right now. You could just spend a couple months like watching their best shit and have a very good experience.
Yeah. Lots of dramas on there.
Yeah.
That seems to be their main like
it
shtick.
does. It does. But the cool thing is they all seem to really have like a lane. And like with Severance or whatever, where it's like they have their thing and they're doing that really well.
Right.
Like, and this one is doing that very well.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, it's very good. Your friends and neighbors. But I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. And my wife did chime in here saying it's so good. And the first episode, literally, it is, like she said, it is surgical.
Yeah.
Like, it is that level of meticulous and spot on to where you're like, I haven't seen something this meticulously made in a very long time. So it's impressive. So yeah, but I think it's time to go ahead and get to the main event, guys. What do we say? Let's go ahead and do a review. All right, got my ladies in there. Yes. So we are going to be doing a review of Final Destination Bloodlines. I have actually been cautiously optimistic about this. I was excited just due to the fact of this franchise coming back.
Yeah.
Like, when franchises come back, especially like I said, it's like this early in the show. This is one from our childhood.
Yep.
Like, this had its origin when we were allowed to watch the first one. Like, we were old enough. It was our horror. This is the 2000s horror era like thing, and it's back. And they did 5. I don't think I've seen but the first 2. Matt has recently watched like all of them, and I think
just the first 2.
Oh, just the first.
And those are actually the first time I've ever seen them.
That's what I was gonna say. It was recently, like, you saw them for the first time. It is, because I know we saw them like OG back in the day.
Right.
Possibly in theaters. If not, then at least at home. But these were ones that these movies unlocked new fears for people across the planet. They became notorious for that. And this one, as well as the others, I can go ahead and say, like, this movie is called like Stress and Anxiety, the movie. Like, it is just like these movies are notorious for just like making you anxious, just waiting for someone to die in the most barbaric way. You never know when, where, or how, and it's probably, even if you can kind of predict it, you're still probably not going to really predict it.
Right.
And that's what the series has always been known for.
Yeah.
So that's what everyone is looking for with this movie. And so we were all wondering if it could capture that magic of what the first two did. And like I said, I think those are the only ones I've seen. And it sounds like Matt as well. Chris probably hasn't seen more than those either.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Do you remember the first two at all, Chris?
I remember
Everyone
them being
remembers
in
the
the
logs.
airport. Oh yeah, and the logs.
Okay, yeah,
That's from
airport.
2.
Yeah, logs are from 2, airport
Oh,
from the
okay.
first one.
Yes.
Those two I definitely remember. If I saw any other ones, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yep. And those were the two big deaths, but it's like there were always more deaths, but there were like always one or two that were just cemented in everyone's brains.
Right.
Yes.
And so, also the question is like, are there going to be ones that can rival that series? Is this going to be able to hang? Also, the original two especially were known for relying on the comedy of these deaths and like just they weren't, even though they were graphic, even though they were R, whatever, like they weren't overbearing because it wasn't like, it was shock value, but it's weird. It's like, it's not like Saw or something.
Sure.
Like this was just a very different kind of series.
Right.
And so I was curious too. I'm like, are they going to take it too far this time? Is this going to be the type of horror movie I don't like? So I was just very intrigued by it. And we actually saw something interesting at the end of the film in the credits, which is that John Watts is attached to this movie. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's the guy who has directed and written the past like 3 Spider-Man films. And so he has been known for writing the line with these like comedy action films. And so that was interesting to me, especially during the end credits, and don't want to give too much away yet. But this is, I'm not even really going to go through who this is really starring because it's mostly unknowns, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not full of big stars, but Richard Harmon is the most recognizable face for me.
Yeah,
And
I've been trying to place.
he's from The 100.
That's I'm trying to figure out where I've seen him. I was literally just scrolling on Criticless to look because he's been in.
He's been around a long time. I mean, he was in Caprica. He's in The Flash. He's in The Good Doctor. He's just this guy that kind of pops up in all sorts of things, and so he's back in this. And I thought that I loved him in The 100, even though he's one of those characters that they just like you loved to hate for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, but I thought that he did an excellent job in this movie, and he's the only recognizable person that I saw, or big recognizable. Tony Todd's in it. But he's in a very small role, and so
The Mortician.
yes, the Mortician.
That's the only one that I recognized.
Yeah, and he is reoccurring. So he's
in the series.
Yeah, he's a reoccurring character in the series.
Okay, I was
which
curious
is why they like
focused on him.
Yeah, so I think he's in the first. I remember him in the first and the second.
They have him in 5 as well here.
Yeah,
we're still in spoiler zone. Spoiler free.
We are in spoiler free. So this is his cast, but he's been in the other movies, and he's back in this one. And unfortunately, he did pass this past year. They did a in memory of kind of thing at the end, and so that happened as well. But so we got a new member, Dark Forest.
Yeah.
What is up, buddy?
Welcome.
Nice of you to join. And I'm pretty sure that he has seen this tonight as well. So I'm curious. But says, what's up, Crit Destroyers?
Destroyers.
Yeah,
Chris Destroyers.
I'm glad I didn't have a slip of tongue and say Clit Destroyers, which is also easy to do when you're saying crit. So I've noticed a little bit of the Clit Destroyer. You know what I'm saying?
That's not a good thing, Blaine.
So But Blaine, one of the protagonists kind of looked like you. I'm curious who he's which one. Do we think he's talking about the
my first thought's
the bro?
The young brother.
The young brother.
The young brother?
Yeah. I could if that's who he's talking about, I could see that. And the guy that we were talking about actually just a minute ago, the actor Richard Harmon, this character in the film is Chris's spirit animal.
It's true.
This character
Eric?
is Chris in a movie. Really. And it also involves like a perfect new fear unlocked for Chris. So,
well, yes and no.
Yes and no.
I know the science behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. So but yeah, it's that character was a trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so we're gonna go ahead and get into this spoiler free. Let you guys know if this is worth watching. Let you know if it lives up to the hype of the previous. All that stuff. I actually did put in our synopsis Oh, he said the tattoos guy. Oh, interesting. And that's the one I said was Chris's spirit animal. Interesting. Yeah. Kind of a similar vibe, maybe, or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think
He's more dark haired than me, but
yeah,
maybe
his eyes are a bit farther apart.
right.
He's got a lizard thing kind of going on.
I said spirit animal. I didn't say he looked like you. It just he behaves like you for sure. But yeah, he I think was my favorite character for sure.
100% for me.
Yeah. Definitely favorite character. And we have 3 reviews in this of this as well, which we will get into after we kind of talk about our personal opinions. But I guess per usual, since I have sucked the air out of the room thus far, Matt, being someone that has not grown up with this series, just saw them recently, it's a bit more fresh on your mind.
Sure.
I want to know your opinion. Oh, and I was going to say, actually, before, let me suck a little bit more air out of the room. I'm going to continue to suck. So, yes, I did say in our description of the video that currently this is doing superbly on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, as we know, we don't respect the tomato. We shit on the tomato around here. But it is always nice to be a comparison between us and them and what's going on with the critics, what's going on in Criticless. Right now, last I checked, the movie had like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know about how many people, but it was very high. So just putting that out there for you guys to know as we begin to talk about this and as we start to watch people's reviews come in on Criticless. Quite often they start happening live as we're doing the show. So I did want to bring that up. But Matt, what did you think? Where did you sit with this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you already know.
I know.
Because you're sitting next to me.
I was yeah.
This movie's fantastic. Dude, I love this movie. Like, it was so much fun. The gore effects are just fantastic. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of CGI, which is like, I'm torn between. I know Chris is over there like chomping at the bits to tell this movie a new one, but I'm stuck between like a high rad because of the CGI, so much CGI,
right,
or a low most excellent.
Okay,
because I enjoyed the kills so much.
Right,
and
you enjoyed the comedy a lot.
Yes, the comedy elements definitely landed,
and there's
a
lot of it.
Right. Yeah. And I felt like it was done really well. And it's for me with this kind of movie, it's all about the deaths.
Right.
And like, I want to at the end, or in the spoiler territory, we can talk about like our favorite kills, our favorite death scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll be curious to see if we're all on the same page or like how we lay with that one.
Right. And that is a bummer is that I don't want to get into the deaths much in this segment just because they are the highlight of this film. Like that's what people watch Final Destination for.
Yeah. It's the thrill of the build.
Yeah.
To
the kill,
what could be
because
the kill.
The whole time
the climax.
Yeah, it is because this movie. Now that we're at least talking about this, and see if you agree, Matt. It sounds like you do.
Sure.
Is that this movie very much does live up to what the previous films were known for, which was keeping you on the edge of your seat, just waiting for someone to die.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And that was like that opening sequence. So it's like the first like 10-ish minutes.
It goes on for a while. Yeah. Like they're like. They really have you questioning how this is going to go down.
You're constantly waiting. You're like, oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's going to be this other thing.
And it doesn't happen.
And you just keep building. You're just like, man, when is it going to happen?
Right. And you're like, this is going to be bad. They built this for a long time.
Right.
This is going to be a fucked up situation. Like, because they do build it so long.
And there's so many of those kills where they do such a good job of building the suspense. And you keep being like, oh, it's that. Going to do this and that. Maybe he's going to do that. Right. Or this other thing. I don't know.
Well, and they might tease something and you don't see that thing enacted till way later.
Right.
Yeah, like they teased multiple things where you think it's going to be a thing and then it's not. And then it is. Like, you know, like, so, and that's not really spoilers. It's just because you're always looking out. Like there will be so many things and some things you might see and you'll be like, that's going to be a thing. And then it's not.
Right.
You're just constantly edging the whole time.
Yes, edging the movie.
Yeah.
Which is something else recently as well, but we talked about it in a negative way. I don't remember what it was, but that has come up before.
Was it The Crow?
Maybe. No, I don't. We did say it about
recently.
Something. It's been within the past year.
Oh, but, I gotcha.
Okay. You wouldn't remember.
I do now that you mentioned The Crow. I do remember that movie.
Right. So, and it sounds like Dark Forest in the chat liked it as well. He says the beginning and end were his favorite parts in that order.
Yeah. And so like, I think I'm going to do him low most excellent because the CGI, there is some bad CGI.
Thank you.
But it did not reduce my enjoyment of everything else that was happening.
Sure.
Right.
So that for me is where I think I'll draw, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Like The Flash. It
Yeah.
had CGI, took me out of the movie,
Right.
maybe like drop my score lower than if those good CGI.
Right.
This movie, bad CGI in some places, but I still thoroughly enjoyed everything going on, and it didn't take me out of the movie.
Right.
So I think that's where I'm
Yeah.
laying with it.
I got you.
Yeah, totally. So, Chris, I'm picking up on similar vibes here
Yeah.
from you as well.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, my critiquing of the CGI is a little harsher, which I'm actually. What's that?
Yeah.
Always is.
Yeah, always. I want to ask Matt, since you watched the older ones recently, I literally haven't seen them since high school.
Same.
How does the CG hold up to that? Like, was
The
it
originals
better? in the
didn't
original?
use as much CGI.
Yeah, it's more practical.
It's more practical and like fast moving things.
Okay.
So like
I don't think it was they were as brutal.
they weren't as
Either.
brutal. That's
Sure.
This movie is a whole new level of brutality.
Yeah.
That the original don't have. It's one of those things where it's something that happens really quick and like, oh my god, that just happened.
Right.
But you
Okay.
don't see it happen.
I
And I'm
gotcha.
not gonna like, but then again, like so the infamous log truck scene.
Yeah.
That's all
That's
CGI.
Yeah.
Right.
And apparently I saw something recently. They tried doing real logs
Yeah.
just with like empty cars and the logs didn't bounce enough.
Right.
So this should alleviate some of our like phobias
Sure.
here of log trucks.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
they had a CGI log trucks. And I've seen the scene a lot now because people have been playing it and hyping
Sure.
it. And you can tell that is some CGI
Oh, yeah.
mess right there.
Right.
So I mean it's for like that second movie. The first movie though did not use nearly as much CGI.
Right. Which and
Gotcha.
two, it's like one of the big things with this type of a series is you do have to kind of it's a one-up thing. Like
Yeah.
you gotta keep going. You gotta
Right.
one-up previous kills. You've got to make them more extravagant. And when they become more extravagant, that does mean that you have to probably involve CG.
Yeah.
To some degree, most of the time, if they are getting very ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that the CG does vary in this. Some of it I thought was solid. Some of it was not so great.
it's all just too shiny.
Yeah.
Everything's too shiny. Life
Right.
isn't that shiny.
Right. No, I know what you mean. That is
Yeah.
a good way to put it. Is like
But I also have like a rationale behind some of the bad CGI that we'll talk about in spoiler range.
okay,
Okay.
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess just since we're doing surface level opinions, and
Wait.
Chris,
Oh, I was about to say
yeah,
what's
your
the score.
score. Where would you put this?
I'm probably gonna put it at like an 88.
Nice.
So-
88.
So high, most medium, most excellent.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, that's good.
It was very enjoyable. I was
Right.
laughing through a lot of it.
Right.
The skills were very. I got a big, I reacted to them a lot.
Mm.
Right.
They made me react.
Yes.
The gore was a lot, and the CG was bad, but I think 88 is fair.
I think that is fair too.
Yeah.
I like this movie a whole lot. Like I am shocked at how much I like this movie. I was expecting it to be like pretty good or okay.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't watch any of the trailers.
Yeah.
Like partially because I
Same.
just didn't want to be predicting kills.
Right.
Like I didn't just want to be sitting around like it being like, oh, this was in the trailer. Here's going to be this thing. Like because of how these movies are, and I think that they do benefit from not like watching the trailers. But this movie's great. Very few complaints. Like my complaints is the same as y'all's, which is basically just CG. Like,
Yeah.
And one thing that neither of y'all have really talked about yet is the story's great. Like
Yeah.
the story is really solid.
Yeah, it really makes sense as a story.
Exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
nice that it like ties back
Right.
to the original movies.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, it does. We'll talk about more in
Which
spoilers,
I think
but
we
it's
can
interesting.
talk about that to some degree. The movie is called Bloodlines. And this is about like if you were to take and I can't remember from the original two, but if you were to take the Final Destination concept, and it's basically like how death hunting people down and killing them essentially
Mhm.
would play out if someone were to skip death. I guess is the best way to put it without overly spoiling it.
Yeah.
And this movie follows a family. It follows cousins, moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandparents. It is following a family. That is the purpose of this movie without saying too much. And it basically revolves around one character having a premonition about death, and that's where everything goes from there.
Mhm.
And so there will, oh man. Yeah, it's hard to decide what is a spoiler. For
That's
this.
why I was just wasn't
Yeah.
going to talk about that because it's
Right.
like you can easily just toe the line right into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what we're saying is, if you like these type of movies, there's a lot of gore, a lot, and if you're familiar with the series from the early 2000s up until whenever the most recent one before this one was, I don't even know, 2008, 11, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a
Um,
while.
Then definitely check it out. I think if
Mhm.
you're a fan of the series, you're going to enjoy this movie for
Right.
sure.
And I think honestly, if you're not a fan or well, if you haven't seen them,
Mhm.
this movie
Yeah.
coming it's swinging. Like it's
For sure.
doing what
Yeah.
this series does best on top of having a very well written story,
Mhm.
very compelling, interesting, fun characters.
Yeah.
I thought that honestly, even like weird thing to point out in a movie like this, I thought the score was really solid. Like the music behind it and kind of what's in there. It's
Mm.
not distracting, but like
Yeah.
it's just good. It
Yeah.
helps to build the tension. It's done well. But I think honestly, one of the shining stars outside of the kills is the humor. This movie's funny as shit. Like
Yeah.
it
Oh,
is
yeah.
legitimately very, very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We laughed a lot throughout
Oh, yeah.
the
yeah.
whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And some of these movies you're known for like laughing just at the kills because it catches you so off guard that
Yeah.
you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like it's that effect, but it's not just that. Like there are characters in this movie, and actually the actor we were talking about earlier from The 100, like very funny. He's very funny in this movie.
Yeah.
And I really liked just his vibe and how he behaved. And he's just
Yeah.
very edgelordy in like a fun kind of way.
Yeah.
And just I don't want to spoil anything about some of the comedic moments, but he does some very funny stuff throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
He's a pleasure in this
Yeah.
movie. He's very good.
He is.
So, yeah, man, this movie.
I will say, I think the lead actress was a little weak.
She's probably the weakest character.
Little
Yeah,
flat.
like there was like a scene early on, and I thought like her reaction was just subpar, and I was like, this is an easy time to like overreact.
Right.
You know, put a little oomph into it.
Right.
And I just felt like that was a little weak acting early on.
Yeah.
And after a certain point, you stop caring because
Right.
you're not coming to this movie for
her
acting
Right.
necessarily. I'm here for like the suspense building, the edging, and the kills.
Yeah. It could be, without spoiling anything, due to her situation.
Could be.
You know, if you don't
like her
sleep,
more
Honestly,
serious.
that's where I thought
that it's more like
She's
if
sleep
you're-
deprived. The character is
exactly.
sleep deprived throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I just imagine sleep deprived is more like haywired.
Right.
Like,
And
that's not
also,
like what she was like.
No.
this has been going on for 2 months.
Mhm.
She
Right.
was saying so, and for what she's experiencing, could have numbed
Right.
some. You know,
It's one of those things where you can hand wave it away
justify
and
it
be
if
okay
you
with
wanted
it,
to,
you know,
yeah.
whatever. Like it's not.
But I do agree. Sorry to interrupt. That
No, you're good.
she is the flattest.
Yeah,
of
she's
characters,
the
for
weakest
sure.
link of all the
Okay,
characters.
cool.
There are some others that are just there's like one or two that aren't in it as much. There's kind of your focal core.
Mhm.
But all in all, outside of her, I thought the other thing is there are a lot of characters and kind of a lot of moving pieces and parts, and they navigate it well. And all of the characters are very well defined. They all have kind of their role, their place.
Yeah.
There's the bitch, and
Uh-huh.
there's the edgelordy funny dude, and there's the just kind of
Childish jock.
yeah, the childish jock, the dude that's the younger brother that's in his feels. Like there's
Mhm.
so all of these characters kind of have their roles in their lanes, but it doesn't feel too tropey in that way.
Yeah.
I thought it all worked really well. This movie's honestly way better than it had any right to be.
True.
Yeah, it really did. I had I had low expectations.
Yeah.
But I think even if I came in with higher expectations, I still would have been quite pleased with everything that we saw.
For
Right.
sure.
Yeah, it is just man, I'm really happy with how good it was. I'm in the same boat. It's going to be a most excellent for me. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly where in that range. And it's one of those things where like it's just a very good, very well made movie. I don't know if it'll be one of those at the end of the year where we're like, that's the best thing I saw all year.
No.
Mhm.
Like, but also it does everything that these do really well.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
I mean, I'll go ahead and go on record and say that I enjoyed The Monkey better, and I think it did it better. And that
Oh,
came out this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I think so.
It might have been the first movie we saw this year.
It was
yeah,
pretty
I think
early
it was a
on.
January or February movie.
Yeah,
right.
We were like, this is
Yeah.
coming out at a tough time.
Yeah.
Now, Matt
See,
liked that one less.
I did not like that one as much. I think it's definitely a more competent movie
Interesting.
that leaned much better into its effects and gore. personally.
They did the effects
And this
better.
is better
because they're all
suspense.
practical.
Yeah, there's a lot of practical.
Yeah, but
effects.
they
except
jump,
for the bees.
they jump
The bees
away.
were bad.
I feel like they jump away too much from in that one.
Okay.
Where
Yeah, which, and if you haven't seen The Monkey and you've seen this or you like this type of thing, we recommend seeing The Monkey, or at least me and Chris definitely do.
I definitely think it's worth watching. I can't wait for it to be streaming because I know my wife hasn't seen it yet, and I would love to watch it with her, but we're kind of waiting for it to be streaming somewhere.
Gotcha. Well, I respect your opinion, Matt, and I hate you for it. You know?
That's perfectly
you
fine.
can dislike the movie.
I have
and-
thick skin for a reason.
Yeah,
we don't
there you
have
go.
to agree.
We don't
It's
have to
more
agree.
fun.
Believe it or not, some people think that there's only one way to think, and that everyone needs to think the exact same. Believe it or not.
Oh, I can't say his name. Never mind. Something to do with World War II, though.
Yeah. So yeah, we are all allowed to have different opinions, and some people can just have fun and like to watch things that are fun, and that's what we do here. Is we like to just have fun, and if we enjoy things, all three of us very much operate in a way in which the film and our experience with it and how it made us feel tend to play a big role in it. And it,
True.
you know, we're all kind of that way to at least to some degree. Now we all can have very different opinions on movies, but we still kind of seem to operate in that way as far as if it ticks that box of, hey, we had fun.
Yeah.
Did it make me laugh? Did it have me on the edge of my seat? Or did it, you know, did the action keep me excited? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like those things play a big role.
And also the opposite.
Right.
There's been many a movie that I dislike, but I can respect the fact that it's a well done movie,
Yeah.
and I know artistically that it's good.
Right.
But
And
I just didn't enjoy it.
that's kind of how Warfare is for me. I
yeah.
went back and forth between giving Warfare a terrible score or a really great score simply because of how it made me feel, which was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to die and vomit all at the same time throughout the entire film. And unlike the anxiety inducing in this movie, which is a fun anxiety, the anxiety in that movie was just like, I want to curl up and die. Like it just made me feel horrendous. And that's why in my review, I was like, I'll never watch this again. And I don't know who to tell to watch this.
Well, I think Dark Forest, who was in the comments, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he reviewed it and gave it a heinous.
Right.
And so he took the opposite path of it.
He did. And he came to give me crap, then read my review and was like, you did warn me. I forgot that part.
Right. And so I think that's where you can take two paths on that kind of movie.
Right. And so, but this one, I think this movie is a pleasure. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I highly
as long as
recommend
you're
watching it.
just super gore.
Right.
Because
yes, it is
they
very
come out
gory.
swinging with gore.
Holy shit.
Way early on. First like 10 minutes is gore. So like, if you don't like blood, guts, and all that kind of stuff, this is not your kind of movie. Just flat out.
For sure.
You're not gonna like this movie. But
100%.
this movie is so much fun to see, like in theater, like with a group of people. Like it could be so much fun. Like it was fun because like Blaine was like knee jerking multiple times. I was busting out laughing because that's my reaction to like gore. I'm like, and Blaine was just like, and it was those great reactions.
Right.
You got jump scared right at the beginning too, with that car going over the railroad tree. It's fucking jump scares, man. They get you.
Well, and the jump scares in this are good. They're not like cheesy bad ones. It's just because, and most of the time,
loud as fuck.
It's loud, and it's because these movies you're just constantly waiting for people to die.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this one too is they do space them out well enough, and quite often it's not like a death. They're like, here's a death, here's a death, here's a death, or like here's one, and then maybe a few minutes later you get another one. Like they really dole them out, and you don't just get just a handful. There are several scenes where they're like, we're gonna pile bodies up. And they do, and quite often they don't hold back. But because this movie relies on some of the comedy and whatever, like I said, it doesn't have the Saw effect from the gore. It's just like a holy shit, this is wild. Also, there's a person's ribs or brain or whatever.
I loved it because you're trying to eat during the movie, and I could tell you were struggling to eat at some points because you would just be like, put your hand back in the bag and like sit down whenever you're eating.
Right.
You'd be like, I'll wait till the scene is over. Another bite.
I was, and also I was like eating them. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till everybody gets a whiff of these chili cheese Fritos.
I thought it was just popcorn.
No,
I was like, that popcorn smells like
yeah, right.
No, I knew you would have something. I just didn't know what it was.
I know.
Chili cheese fries.
Chili cheese
Fritos. Sorry.
Chili cheese Fritos.
Is that Sonic?
Keeping it healthy.
Yeah, they are.
Sonic?
No, the Fritos. No, actual
just
like
the
chili cheese.
Oh, I'm
flavored
sorry.
Fritos.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, well, I realized, so I was like on the way, and I was like realized that I hadn't eaten in many hours, and I was like, I'm gonna have to eat something while I watch this movie, or I'm gonna have problems. Like I'm gonna be like tummy growling, not feeling great. So I picked up some chili cheese Fritos on the way in, but they were anyways, there are some scenes where you might not want to be eating when certain things happen. There's some crazy shit in this movie. And this is gonna have, just like the other ones, some things that are just gonna be burned into your brain, and you're gonna be like, dear God, like that's a thing that happened.
Yep.
So yes, this movie lives up to the hype of the originals. I think it is a perfect way to kick off this franchise again if they want to, or end it on this. It doesn't really matter. Like it's either a good way to go out or a great way to start things off again.
True.
Yeah.
And I'm totally in. If this is the norm and this is where they're setting this franchise, bring the shit back.
Dude, for real. And the thing is, they can do so many different things.
Yeah.
Just because this one was Bloodlines, like it's all really just about death and like no, but
Yes.
more about like something happening where somebody has a premonition. I think this is basically the premise for the first two, especially, and this one. Somebody has a premonition, prevents something from happening,
Right.
and then death tries to find a way to bring those people back to being dead.
Right.
And
Whereas this one's like, oh man, is that a spoiler? God,
it's kind of a spoiler, but I'm just saying, like in the future franchises, they could do anything they
Right.
wanted. This one, they happen to tie back.
Right.
They don't have to tie the next one back. The next one could be a completely different like
space.
world. With,
Right.
It could be up in space.
They could honestly, they can do whatever with this series. They could literally do whatever, and as long as the kills are great, the comedy's there the same way as this, which is really funny because Dark Force is saying that he was in a glass elevator or a building that had one, and on the 6th floor and all this stuff. That is literally part of this. And it's very funny too because I told the guys it happened to all three of us when we walked out. We're like seeing things and we're all just like,
Yeah. You get a little paranoid after these movies, for sure.
Absolutely. Like someone was working a trash compactor when we walked out. There were multiple people around, and we were all just like, all of us had the exact same thought. We're just like watching this, like, who's gonna die?
Yeah, because she was just like, this is how you put things in the trash compactor.
Yeah, they were showing the full bodies in there.
Yeah. We're just like, and well, yeah. So anyway, see, and I was driving an old rickety vehicle, which is like a deathmobile. Honestly, it hasn't been driven in forever. Has a bad gas tank. Out of the 2 gas tanks, one of the gas tanks, you never know how much gas is in it. It had problems on the way there. I was literally like, y'all need to follow me on the way back because something might happen.
Yeah.
So, and it was like literally openly leaking like coolant, and it was a whole thing. So I was just like, this is going to be great. Just can't wait to ride this home. So, yeah.
It really puts the fragility of life in perspective, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can take, you never know what it's going to be.
Right. Yeah, it does. It really does. And that's what the old ones did. And this one does the same thing. So, yeah, I recommend checking it out and definitely watch this new movie. I will say, we are going to spoil some stuff in spoilers. It is one of the struggles of this with how we do the show, where if we, with doing spoilers and with it being live, it kind of sucks because some of y'all have to bail and whatever.
Yeah.
And we understand that. We get it. Feel free and definitely do come back and hear our thoughts on the best kills and all of that stuff, because we didn't really want to go into that here. I don't. They're just so they're so gratifying, and they're such big moments. And even with the comedy, I don't even want to really spoil any of that, because there's some very unexpected comedy in this movie and just some good stuff. Yeah. Definitely check this movie out. I think it's also one worth seeing in theaters, actually. We saw it in an IMAX, and seeing this on the big screen, like just these big screen deaths, was fun.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of glad to see it in IMAX. I'm always like, whatever, it's IMAX. We're Dolby people, right? But like, seeing it on a bigger screen was fun. And almost this was one of those movies I kind of wish was in 3D, which maybe it is. I don't know.
Right.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
There was definitely a couple scenes where I was
That
like,
would have
this is
benefited
supposed
from
to
it.
pop out. I can tell.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's why the CG was so bad.
could be.
Yeah, right.
That
Seeing
is
things
not
on
together.
bigger, better screens sometimes hurts things.
Yeah. Or I mean that it was
Or even
designed for 3D, because like 3D you
Right.
can
Well,
really
there was
tell.
one of these movies that was a like 3D movie, and it didn't go over well. I think it might have been 5. But yeah, so, and this I think does, like Matt was saying, this does tie into some of the old ones, but also it doesn't hurt you if you haven't seen them. So there's that little bit to know in there as well. But
Guys, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. For those that are heading out, we will get into spoilers. Do recommend seeing this. I would not hate to see this again. It's very fun. It's one worth seeing in theaters. This is one that really does also benefit from the crowd and from people reacting. And from laughing at people reacting and laughing at people laughing and all of that. This is a theater type experience that is very fun. It is also one that's just fun to see with friends, because you get to watch your friends react to things that are ridiculous.
Right.
So we all clearly highly recommend it. Definitely worth checking out this movie. And it sounds like it's most excellence in rads or whatever all the way around from us, which is a good sign. And I think that will consistently be the case. And in Criticless right now, we have 100, an 80, and a 79. So
Yep.
And
Pretty
actually,
good.
100 from Banjo. He doesn't give out tons of hundreds. That's
Man,
pretty high for
Banjo gave out 100. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, and Movie Waffler gave it a 79. He's an actual critic as well, I think, in Ireland.
Yeah, he's Irish.
And so, but yeah, gave it a 79%, and then Gonzo Sean gave it an 80% as well. So sounds like you guys are digging it, at least the ones in here so far. And if you want to know as far as critical scale goes, they said a lot of language, a ton of violence, a bit of nudity. Was there nudity?
No.
I don't know.
I
Who
don't remember
would have put a
seeing
bit of nudity. That's only one voter, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah,
any
there's no nudity in this,
no.
I don't think. But unless there's just something.
If it is, then it's not sexual.
No, it's not a sexual
But
thing.
even then, I
don't
don't
think there was
remember
any
any.
Right.
at all.
No political bias. I can agree with that. Definitely not family friendly.
No.
And a ton of
Agreed.
entertainment value from this person as well. I think
Agreed.
we agree with all these except for the
Agreed.
nudity. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's what you know you're getting into. So anyways, guys, spoilers for all the way down from here on out. We're going to be spoiling this movie. So bail if you do not want anything ruined for you, but this is a great movie. Go check it out and let us know what you think, and review it in Criticless as soon as you see it. Let us know what you think, and tag us in the reviews and all that stuff so we can check them out and hear your thoughts. But this is a great one, and on to the spoilers. All right. So, favorite kills or kill sequences.
Starting off hot.
Man, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, that's what we got to get into.
Yeah.
Matt, you as our horror guy, what was
Sure.
your favorite kill?
My favorite kill was the machine,
Trash compactor.
no,
Oh.
the scan, was
Oh,
it
the CT scan or
the
MRI.
Or MRI.
the MRI machine
Yes.
snapping him in half as it sucks him through.
Yeah.
And not only
And his
that,
nip, like all this
dick ring-
piercings.
his
Yeah.
dick ring gets ripped out.
His
And
poor
he-
Prince Albert.
Yeah.
And, it's like this. They did it in the perfect way too, where they're like, "Here goes the earrings.
Right.
Here goes the nose ring that we've
Yeah.
been teased that it's going to get pulled out.
Yeah.
Here goes the like," and then it's like, "But wait, you didn't know he had his nipples pierced.
Yeah.
Here goes the nipple rings," and then he gets sucked up to the freaking machine, and they're like, "And a dick ring,"
Yeah.
and his pants like
Yeah.
pull out.
So not only are you watching a horrific like death take place,
Mhm.
but you're laughing. You're like, "Oh, this is funny," and you get snapped in half backwards.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
And you're just like, oh,
It was
for me, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
That
Like,
was crazy.
It was a wild death. And then they're like, also, you're watching another death happen
Yeah.
because they're intentionally trying to kill one of them.
Yep.
And he's allergic to peanut butter. They've been teasing it the entire time.
Yep.
And you are expecting this guy to die from oh, that's a good point. Caveat Ties brought up a dick ring and not sexual. So
But it doesn't show
you
the
Yeah.
dick
don't
ring.
see it.
Or nor the
But
dick.
as far as sexual, I guess that's probably what that person was rating it on.
Maybe
very well
that's
might have
such
been
a
Banjo.
quick, limited thing though.
And they
Like,
don't show it. You
Yeah,
just see his pants
there's no
bulge.
skin.
You see his shirt bulge. So
right.
Maybe they're saying that seeing people's insides counts as nudity.
I still
Right.
ponder that, and I used to question that all the time
Yeah.
because you do see the inside of people a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
And that's
a
as
lot.
personal as you can get.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm,
But there's not
mhm.
skin. Well, there
Mhm.
was.
There was.
There wasn't,
skin.
and there's not. And
Yeah.
then the
I don't know.
insides on the
Right.
outside.
I'm still going with the no on nudity, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would probably be in the same boat.
Because it
Still,
was not
but-
sexual content.
No, it's
There was
really not.
like sexy time.
Yeah.
He was getting.
It's not- also not even-
So.
And yeah, Dark Forest said the MRI death looked great, and I completely agree, and I do think it was
Mhm.
practical
Yeah.
as well.
agreed.
So it does look fantastic, and that's one of the things that makes it one of the best.
Yeah.
And so then the crazy thing is that you're waiting for the peanut butter guy to die who had eaten the peanut butter. They're trying to make this death happen.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, is that if you can basically if you can bring someone back from the dead, but they have to fully die and be brought back.
Necromancy.
Yes, right. Then you can stop death from working its way down the family line, which is
Right.
the thing that we've been alluding to this whole time, which is what the whole movie's really about, is that if someone in your family line avoids death, then basically death will continue to come after you and your entire family line for as long as you let that kind of your
Yeah.
family line survive.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole premise of the movie. But so this guy's dying from peanut butter, and he goes to go get the EpiPen that his brother was holding when he got sucked into the MRI machine.
Yep.
And he gets the EpiPen, makes himself feel better. He stands up, and all of a sudden someone opens the door, and all of these items come flying in that are metal that you think are going to kill him, and they don't.
Yeah.
And then an item that they tease as a kill item way earlier, which was a spring, then
From a
flies
vending machine.
Yeah, from a vending machine.
Yep.
Flies through and hits him in the head and goes through his head.
And then proceeds to drill itself.
Yes.
Spiraling into his skull. Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And those were like the two best characters in the movie.
Right.
And they die
sure.
together.
Right.
And it was just, it's a glorious scene. It's really the whole bit. Was great.
So why it's not triggering for me? Because rings are not magnetic. That's
Right.
they're specifically designed that
To not
way.
be magnetic
Right.
so that they don't
They don't
jack you up.
trigger unless you like have custom made ones. I
Right.
guess if you
And he
want
had
to
a
like
big fat nose ring
Yeah.
too. That thing was huge.
Yeah. Normally,
They are not
regular piercings are non-magnetic.
Which now, when it first got him, it wasn't due to magnetic reasons. So they tease his death early on in the film, and that one was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And he's in a tattoo parlor, and it gets hooked.
Yeah.
The nose ring gets hooked, and
Is
I
this your
literally
favorite?
elbowed Chris right away, and I was like,
Yeah.
Here
Right.
comes a new fear.
I know that. I actually have a friend of mine who had his septum ripped out, and it was brutal. Showed me all the pictures of it, and it was nasty.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And I, back in the day, well, actually, we both had our eyebrows pierced
Yeah.
back in the day. And I was always worried about that because I worked on cars.
Mhm.
But the problem was the reason that I got rid of mine was because when I worked on cars, I was dirty and gross all the time.
Mm.
And so my eyebrow was constantly infected.
Ugh.
And so that was
Mm.
gross. And I was just like, I don't want something infected on my face
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And so working on cars was not conducive to having piercings and such.
Didn't you also have a reaction to the metal in your earrings
Yes.
one time?
Yes, I had really,
So
that was
they are metal.
right. Well, some are.
It is a
yeah.
metal, but there are metals that are
Not
non-magnetic.
true. Yeah.
Non-ferric.
Which is why I actually back in the day, if you were a 2000s person, well, lots of people had gauges. I had pretty big gauges in my ears. That was actually why I initially switched to gauges because they were usually plastic.
Right.
And I was constantly having very negative reactions to earrings. And so I switched to bigger gauges that were plastic ones. And those were cool anyways.
Yeah.
So
And they smelled great.
they smelled like an actual anus. Yeah. Gauges are stinky and gross.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, though, is like everyone that had gauges, which you can't tell probably in the camera, but it's like all of us, your ear holes never close up. And mine have never, I can still stick toothpicks through mine. Now, I didn't have the big massive ones or anything, but I can still literally fit a toothpick through there.
Yeah.
And it's gross because it's even still like they try to like fill up or whatever. So anyways, but my eyebrow definitely that closed up.
Yeah,
Not
same.
stay around.
My lip's still
Right.
open.
Your
Yeah.
lip is?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I can put a toothpick through it too.
Wow. Yeah. No, my eyebrow closed up pretty quick, but I also only had that.
Oh, my eyebrow. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just because of that skin or what. I do have a scar.
Yeah.
there, but
Same.
Yeah, I was about to say I can see the scar from over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those I have heard are notorious for never going away.
Yeah.
Or as far as they close, but the scars stay.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, that I think so. Was that your favorite kill too, Chris?
The MRI one was really good. Yeah, probably just because I did really appreciate the finger rip.
Oh, the finger.
Dude, the finger rip
Oh.
was gnarly. Like
Bro,
that made my
yeah.
nipples hard.
Nice and early, just ripping off
Yeah.
finger skin.
Yeah.
just-
Because the whole time I
She's
was
hanging
like,
by nothing but a finger between nails on a ring.
I was just like, this is so unrealistic. And then they proceeded to make it realistic, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do
realistic,
that. Too realistic.
Yeah, and they
No.
ripped off her whole entire finger.
Like the skin,
skin.
just got peeled off.
Yeah, like a freaking banana. Like
So I mean, that wasn't necessarily a kill, but it was like,
it led to her death.
yeah, it did. The fall and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that scene, so in the opening scene, like 100 people die or
Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah.
it is, you get to see a lot of deaths. They really
they even killed a kid.
right. They
Oh,
did.
yeah.
And they killed the
That kid deserved it.
He was an
Oh, he
asshole.
100%.
They made him earn it.
But normally, like movies stay away from killing children. You know, it's kind of
but
like
that was
a
great.
no.
And that's what's so nice about being like so shocking.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, this was an interesting question that I thought about, and I'm glad it's asked in the chat. But Valentin Perez said, in Final Destination, do you think death is the Grim Reaper? And that is an interesting thought because in these movies, and in this one specifically, very much they focus on like death is an entity.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
he is coming after us. Like
Right.
he is, and it very much functions in that way. And I kind of, there's like a part of me that likes that we've never seen death in this series, as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a part of me that's like, they could go a really fun direction with the series
Sure.
and actually introduce death as a character.
Make it Anubis.
Right. They'd have to do it in a really cool and interesting way. Like, I don't know that it is the Grim Reaper. I kind of think of them that way. And they actually, even in this movie, there's a bobblehead that's a Grim Reaper bobblehead that they're clearly teasing as like death and whatever. But I don't know.
It's really the penny.
The penny is
The
death.
penny is death.
Right. In this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, well, that's what I hate loose change. And this movie just solidifies that in my mind that it's all evil. We should just get rid of coins and
Coins are evil.
they're terrible. The worst.
Right. Yeah. It's which in this movie also it follows a trope of this penny, and that's kind of what causes the initial thing to happen. That's also how she stopped it, was she stopped this kid from throwing a penny. And so the reason that she survived was she had the premonition, stopped the penny throw, saved all these people, and then kept the penny. And so later the penny goes on the loose.
It reminds me of that tire movie, but
right.
But how did she know the penny was what caused it?
She had that premonition. I think the premonition was the opening scene.
Yeah.
So everything we saw in the opening scene, which where he threw the penny and he goes down into the thing.
But how did she see that? Like, obviously,
she had that in the premonition.
No, I think
the
her
premonition is like a movie.
Yes, was that whole opening scene,
lame.
not her perspective.
Weird
of it.
Okay,
I think
like her premonition. Well, and
that would explain
make sense in how these movies work, is it's like really unless you know how the deaths happen exactly, then you can't stop them.
Yeah.
And so, and I appreciate that. I really like how they did it. Like I said, I still think that the lead girl was the weakest of the characters.
For sure.
Yeah.
But she's surrounded by so many other great characters.
Yeah.
That it really does lift it all up, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, and they all just do have their own lane and their own place.
Yeah.
And even the grandma was really interesting when they first introduced her and her house layout, which is like Matt said, we need for our personal house.
Dude, for real.
It's
a death trap.
That's just where I want to live.
Right.
Surrounded by trees
and
mountains.
Yeah. Just in the Pacific Northwest with nothing but trees and mountain behind you and nobody being able to find you. It sounds golden.
Right. Yeah, and which in the chat, Anime Night, what's up? Asked which of these films would like to be in. Absolutely none of them, please and thank you. Wouldn't want to be in any of these.
Yeah, not seen but in.
Yeah, not seen but in. Yeah, I don't think I want to be in any of these. Don't really want to die. I mean, unless you're just a
bystander.
A bystander. Yeah.
I mean, I guess to rephrase that question, which of these, the three movies, 1, 2, and 6, since I don't think any of us seen the other ones.
Yeah.
Would we want to be in the mass death scene? Because all of them have a mass
death, like one's an airplane,
the bus, or the log truck, or the Seattle tower.
The
falling.
needle. Yeah.
Oh, the needle is no. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Probably the airplane, because you just blow up.
Well, if I remember right, it's like the side blows off the airplane. People get sucked out.
Yeah.
It's very lost.
I mean, getting sucked out,
Getting sucked, baby. That's what I'm about.
Suck. You know what I'm saying? That's how I want to go out.
Free skydiving experience.
Yeah, exactly. You at least get that.
You probably die of a heart attack before you hit the ground.
Suffocation, no oxygen.
The crazy thing is, we've heard about people that fall out of airplanes that survive, which I've never been able to wrap my head around exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But like that's the thing. You've fallen out from that Space Needle, you're not surviving.
No, because the building falls on top of you.
Yeah.
If you mildly survived,
right,
you'll get crushed.
And a lot of them died before they even hit the ground.
Oh yeah.
Like a lady gets crushed by a lot of fire, crushed by a piano.
Yeah.
Like that one was the first scene in this is brutal, and it is a long and drawn out bunch of deaths. It's not like a quick thing.
Right.
And so I really dug that. I think there were no bad kills in this. And there's one that you think is going to be a bad kill, which is the tattoo guy. And it's just that he hasn't died. And he comes back to continue to be the best character in the movie.
Yeah.
And the trash compactor one, that one hit. They really show her get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see her head get squished, and that was definitely nice, like not CGI, but like
a practical head getting smashed, arm getting. Yeah, it wasn't CGI.
You don't think that was CGI?
Nah, I think there was CGI in there for sure.
I don't think so. I think they made a model.
Yeah, I think it was a model of.
There's no reason to CGI that scene.
Right.
There's a lot of reasons to not CGI a lot of things, but
that one in particular, like as bad CGI in my mind for this movie, the most egregious was the opening scene.
Yes. Sure.
And I was like, oh, well, it's actually a dream sequence, which is
Right.
what I wanted to say earlier.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it was like, oh, this is her dreaming.
Yeah.
about
Which is
this
why it has a slight
premonition.
like superficial look to it.
Yes, which is why it was
Like a
kind of
dream
like
state look.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of like am okay with that. There was a
Right.
couple other kills where I remember being like, that was like a CGI, like blood splatter.
I did. Yeah. It was the grandma dying. That one was really CGI. I think the corkscrew through the head was also very, or the spring through the
You
head was
think-
very
I
CGI.
think
Yeah.
parts of it were.
The MRI
Yeah.
bend in
Folding.
half was really good.
I
The
think-
spring was not so.
I felt like they were trying to use practical when and how they could.
Yeah.
Because there definitely are practical things in this.
Right.
Like I think probably the dad with the lawnmower was practical. And they probably used like a dummy.
Yeah.
And it happens pretty quick.
Yeah.
I knew that lawnmower was going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Just
I
didn't know when or
liked
how.
the lawnmower kill too.
It was good.
Yeah. But it was a great sequence because they set it up right.
Yeah.
You knew exactly
There's going to be
all the things that focused on all of the things that were
Mhm.
going to play a role in it, but you didn't know who was going to happen to,
Yeah,
when
right.
it was going to happen to, or if it was
and
just
it kept passing
teasing,
around
yeah.
to people because it was a
Yeah.
shard of glass, and you're like, someone's going to swallow and eat the glass.
Yeah.
And then they tease it, and they don't get hit by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they keep teasing.
The game of edging.
That
Yeah,
was,
man.
that was
That
the
was
big
the
edging
edge.
sequence. And
Yeah.
that one went on for a while.
Yeah. Because you also had the rake under the trampoline.
Yep. Yep. And there was glass. And then like the other girl, the main lead character is going to
Yeah.
save them all during all this.
Right.
And so you're watching her
Mhm.
deal with it all. All of that was great. And like we were talking about with the story too, like I think that was handled really well. Like I liked watching it work its way down through the family members.
Yeah.
And I really, you're good. Go ahead.
No, yeah. And speaking of that, how it's working down the family members, and we get that big twist
Yeah.
that the tattooed guy is actually a bastard child.
Right.
And so he's not related.
Funny. Yeah.
And I was like, what? I did not see that at all.
No,
and
I
like
didn't
looking back,
either.
I'm like, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like them at all.
right.
Yeah. True.
But
Yeah.
damn, it worked well.
And God, he was so hilarious. He's like, he was literally like, oh, you mean that's always why he was wanting to play catch with me?
I honestly, I would have liked for them to wait to do that a little later on.
right.
I think they kind of busted that nut a little early.
Right.
I think
but-
it could have been better served later on.
yeah.
But I mean, it still was great. I still loved
Right,
it. I'm
right.
not going to shit on it that
because
much.
they could
but
have
I think,
let it go longer.
But the thing is they had to keep the story moving, and
Right.
then they had to move to the next
right.
because then
Yeah.
it was the kid.
And it's
Right.
actually a surprisingly long movie. Like it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
didn't feel over long.
Right.
It stayed chugging along. Like you said, with that, the edging keeps you on your toes.
Mhm.
Like the comedy keeps you there. Like you got regular kills throughout. This is a pretty flawlessly balanced film.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I was saying earlier, with John Watts being one of the writers and producers on this, it makes sense. Like he's done a really good job with those Spider-Man movies of keeping them moving along, keeping the comedy in there, keeping them funny, keeping them fun. All of that is still present in this movie too, and you feel that even though he wasn't the director.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this movie.
Yeah.
So
I am too. I'm
mean-
pleasantly surprised.
yeah, me too. And I don't know that there's anything else that we really need to touch on. I mean, I did have a feeling that we were still going to get everybody killed off at the end.
Yeah.
And we did. And I like
Yeah.
how they did
I'm
it.
glad they did that.
I'm glad they did too. Because that would have felt like a punch pulled if they had survived.
Because that's harkening back to the first and second
Right.
movie.
Right.
Because I think the second movie opens up with her in an insane asylum, or not opens up that way, but
Right.
they have
Yeah,
to
they, they have to go and
visit her.
consult
Right.
her, and she's in an insane asylum, and that she's like, this is the only place I'm safe.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more or less like the same thing, just a different
A different
Right.
approach
Approach.
instead of following a family this
Yeah.
time. And
Or instead of her being in a cabin in the middle of the woods, she's in a insane asylum.
right. And
Yeah.
it's not like that she has had a bunch of kids and they're
Right.
trying to protect multiple grandkids and all this stuff.
right.
Which is a very cool concept. And that's the thing is that like it's so easy to just take this exact concept and be like, it happened to another family somewhere else,
Yeah,
in another part of the country, in another part of the world, in another whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many other ways that they could play this out.
So sorry you had to look that up. Caveat.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, edging.
Caveat.
Yeah.
You had to look up
edging.
edging.
You know, educating for boomers.
Yeah.
We're here to do it all the time, buddy. You know, we're
Clear your cache, you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah,
Which-
yeah. I'm curious what kind of things you got popped up on that.
I did want to come back though, because you mentioned we were talking about the Grim Reaper being
Right.
I 100% think so.
Yeah.
Because it's like the Grim Reaper is following a design,
Totally.
and when it gets out of order for him,
Mhm.
or whatever. Like it has to be like, I need to fix this. I can't just
Right.
fix it. I have to fix it in my order though.
Right.
So I do think in this movie it is the Grim Reaper
Right.
doing
And
its
I
job.
think that there could be a cool way if they did want to incorporate that, even if it's not like overly in your face, to
Yeah.
almost play it in like a slashery kind of way, to
Right.
like have a really cool Grim Reaper design, like tease showing him.
Right.
And so to like trigger like, hey, there's a death coming, instead of showing the wind blowing or whatever,
Sure.
they could do some cool stuff with that.
What if it was a really funny way? So you see the Grim Reaper back in the background,
Right.
lightning, and then you see him just like flick something over.
Right.
He has a scythe, but he's just like, watch this, and flicks over like a little doll or something, and starts the cycle,
Right.
like the death sequence.
There's
Right.
so many like
That could be
Rube
fun.
Goldberg
Oh, yeah.
machines. set
I
up.
literally put that in our YouTube things was Rube Goldberg
Oh,
machine.
yeah.
Like, yeah, because that's how
Oh,
these deaths are. They're very Rube Goldberg.
Yeah.
And Caveat Size says he's Gen X, and that I know you are. We just like that. I like to joke with Gen Xers because y'all are Gen X is very much almost split in half, to where
Yeah.
y'all are like half boomer, half millennial. Y'all are kind of in this in-between generation. A lot of it probably has to do with the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a funny thing where you guys kind of share traits from both.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, this is man, dang, I'm just so glad this was as good as it was. 'Cause
Yeah.
last week was kind of a bummer.
Wait, so which one was your favorite kill plane?
I think it was the same as yours.
Okay.
Same as yours. Yeah,
And so
it was
Chris
so-
appreciated the more of the finger,
was the
killing.
most like reactive for me.
right.
I
And I
think-
really liked how they did even like all of them were great. Like the tattoo parlor part when you think
Yeah.
that that's going to be a big kill. That one was really
Right.
fun.
Yeah, it wasn't even a kill, and it was a great kill.
Right. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one, I think I teased it a little bit earlier, but that one I was kind of worried because I thought that they pulled their punch and I'm like, we didn't see this son of a bitch die.
Yeah.
Like he just fell in the fire and they're going to burn the building down. I was like, those sons of bitches. Like, why would they?
Yeah,
do
I
that?
wanted like an Anakin, like
Right. Oh, yeah. Which
if
did.
that was the kill.
Right. Exactly. But movie rules, if you don't see them die on screen, they're probably not dead. But
Sure.
I always usually think that when I'm watching things, I'm like, I didn't see the body. I
Right.
didn't see the body. They're not dead. But in this one, I didn't because of how these movies are. I'm just like, for whatever weird reason, they pulled the punch, and it was maybe to show us some really gruesome scene.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was coming, was
Yeah.
them showing like something super fucked up that happened to
Right.
a character.
Just like a torched corpse.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, or like, yeah, and like him in some kind of crazy position or whatever.
Right,
and,
yeah.
like, you know, something crazy happened. Or,
Yeah.
or even a flashback to it later.
Yeah.
Of like, we're going to show you exactly what happened.
Mhm.
Right.
So it could have gone many ways. And then you just find out that he's alive and it's actually really funny. And you're just watching him dodge death
Right.
Yeah.
until you find out that death isn't coming for him.
Until he
Until
tries
it-
to interrupt
until he
death,
fucks
and then
with him.
death
Yep.
holds him in half.
Exactly. And it did.
Yeah. The only, I think we're getting towards the end, but
Yeah.
the only thing I wanted to say is there were a lot of homages
Yes. Right.
to the
Yeah.
first two movies at least,
Mm-hmm.
because we did end up like the final kills
Right.
are the logs.
Yep.
And
Right.
there was a log truck 2 other times, I think.
Yeah. They teased log
Yeah.
truck multiple times.
Yeah. And so they were aware. They were like, and that's some of the marketing
Yeah.
was log trucks.
Oh yeah.
They were driving around like LA or something like that. And
It's
like,
brilliant.
oh,
That's
that's a nation. And it was a log truck.
That's awesome.
Dude, could you imagine seeing that in the wild though?
For real.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, that is the thing, is it's like these movies are unlocking new irrational fears where it's like, even if as impractical as it could be with the MRI thing, there's no way after seeing this movie you're going to get an MRI machine and not think about this shit. Period. You
Oh,
will.
yeah.
It-
Because that's honestly the death I will think about the most
Oh yeah.
out of this movie.
Yeah. It's wild.
yeah. It's also like the least realistic. Because what is this, a research mode that you can
Right,
crank up the
right.
magnet to level
Right.
1200? Like, okay, give me
Stuck a room inside
yeah,
out. Like,
it was
You
affecting
gotta
the
crank it up
lamp
to 11, man.
like
yeah.
down the hall.
Right. Which is still fun. Like,
Oh,
it's
no,
a
it's
fun.
fun. I'm just
but
saying
at the
it
same
is
time, you know,
like
I agree.
the
It's
least
like-
realistic out of all of this.
Right. You're like,
Yeah.
the chances of that are pretty slim. That,
Yeah.
that
I
is
don't
a
think
thing.
that exists.
I wouldn't think so, but still cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, but either way, yeah, playing on irrational or even rational fears is a fun thing. It's a great
Yeah.
idea for a franchise. And so, yeah, I'm ready for more of these. Or like I said, this is a great way to go out if they wanted to end it. But I have a feeling that this movie is going to do very well.
Yeah, well, it already is.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Even not just
Yeah.
reviews. I think it's going to, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
money
I
wise.
hope people actually go to the theaters and see this.
Me too.
Because this is quintessential, like summertime, like fun, gory movie. And our theater was, I'd say, about half
It was
full. And
pretty-
it seemed to be a
right.
lot of like couples like coming out to see it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is perfect. This is the perfect movie for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Funny enough, we do have 2 more reviews. We have our first bad review, which is getting a downvote from me. You're welcome. Who gave it a 35% of bogus. So
What?
yeah, thumbs down on that.
No context. Come on.
Yeah, come
Tell me why.
on. That's what we call a low
Tell me
average
why.
shit missile around here. So yeah, a low review with no text. That's how it goes. But
Dark
Dark
Forest
Forest dropped his review, gave it an 85%, and absolutely had no right to be as good as it is. Absolutely agree. I think we literally said that earlier. And yeah, it is so fun and so good.
Guess who rebutted you? Rhombosaurus is in the chat.
Oh, really?
I had to downvote all the positives.
Gotcha, Rhombus. Sorry.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So, oh man, Rhombus. Well, I hate that you came in here at the very end. You'll hear us talk about it, and then you can listen to the rest of the review and hear why we disagree with you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it comes down to.
You're the only one in the app so far that dislikes it, or even, I guess, with this panel. I am interested to see the people that have issues with it, what they don't like about it. Is it that this type of movie isn't your vibe, like whatever? Because it seems like pretty universally across all the apps that do what we do and all the places, people are pretty much liking it. And it is really funny that you showed up in the chat, because the exact same thing happened last week to someone totally different. We mentioned their name and all of a sudden they were in the chat.
Right, we speak your name and thou shalt appear.
Yeah, we should just really start. If we really want to boost up this show, we just start saying people's names. Like, that's really what
we're going to start saying people's names. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he shows up. Well,
JC?
I'm surprised he didn't show up earlier with your.
Yeah, no kidding.
The lightning didn't happen.
Yeah,
So I'm okay this time.
I did hear some thunder.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, I think that is it for our Final Destination review. This has been a fun one. I really enjoyed talking about it. I really enjoyed seeing it, and I'm excited to hear everybody else's opinions as this thing kind of comes down through the pipe of people seeing it. I do think that Rhombus will probably be in the minority if anything is to be judged from what we've seen thus far.
Yeah, I can see people, like we said earlier, that just don't like the gore, or maybe they just don't like the comedy elements of it, because this is a funny, gory movie, which Clown in the Cornfield should have been last week.
Right. Yeah, it should have.
So, I mean, maybe that's just not their cup of tea or whatever.
Right.
This is why I encourage people to write in their reviews, because I would love to hear what they have to say about like why they didn't like it or things like that.
Totally.
So,
and really, the only valid quote unquote review that I would understand having a negative one is if they were a fan of the old one and this somehow didn't live up to it. If you just don't like these movies in general, sure. Like,
and
I
this
understand.
movie is a lot funny. I don't remember the originals being that funny. I think I gave the very first one like a 63%, a very low rad, and the second one I gave like a almost most excellent, but still only a rad.
There's a good chance that this might go down as the best in the franchise, which is wild to be a 6th film and be considered the best.
Right.
But I think personally, for me at least, they have managed to pull that off, which is wild. And good on them. So we'll see as the reviews come in if everybody is on the same page as us, but I could see that very well happening. So anyways, this is the part where we do our send-off songs. We send you guys off with a song, and per usual, I'm not prepared. Chris was getting prepared while we were talking. So we're going to send you guys off with some music to listen to.
And Chris, since you're prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, are we ready? You want to do yours?
I'm sorry. I thought there was like some cutscene or something we were doing.
No, we don't have one for that yet. Okay. We haven't done one.
Yeah, there was a bit. Awkward silence then. I am going to go back to some Rudy roots for me, but new roots, I guess. Something that touches roots from my past. I'm explaining this perfectly. It's a band called Hot Mulligan.
I remember them.
Yeah, and the song is called Cock Party 2. It's just like
this theme song.
Yeah, Midwestern emo. That's what it is.
Okay.
And it hits very much if you're a fan of, Taking Back Sunday. It's in that same kind of vein, but a little more screamy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, modern.
TBS.
Yeah. It hits it scratches that itch a little bit.
Nice.
Kind of going back to it.
And we got our usual caveat ties song review coming in here hot. I will let Matt go ahead and read this as
bring
well.
In with a 5er.
So giving us a recommendation here at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
All right. So my favorite song from our Noir album on YouTube, titled "What Dreams Are Made Of," from the album Anthology. no German or Italian today. Thank you so much. We can find
Wow.
Angus to do the Italian.
Right. Yeah.
I was
seriously.
expecting like some Claire de Lune or something.
Right. Right. Well, awesome. Yeah. So make sure to do that. Is go check out his Noir album. And this is actually, I guess he said on his YT. What is what?
YouTube.
Yeah, I'm guessing YouTube title.
The tubes.
Yeah, the YouTube's What Dreams Are Made Of. But yeah, go check out his stuff. And it's from his anthology. My wife was actually checking that out just the other day when we got in the car. So we have seen it, buddy. We're checking out your stuff too. So yeah, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the $5. We really appreciate it. And all of our subs as well. And everybody here in the chat. Thank you. Before we sign off, I do want to say that is thanks for coming into the chat. Valentin Perez and Anime Night, some of you newcomers that are in here. Ramasaurus, glad we were able to summon you, even if you didn't love the movie. But we still love you, even though you didn't love the movie. We totally understand. And obviously just throwing a little bit of crap with the low effort ship missile thing. And if you just got out, I don't blame you. Logging your thoughts early. So anyways, that's how it goes. And caveat ties, all the usual suspects. I know a lot of people bailed out because they didn't want spoilers, and Miss Criticless, Wine Fiend, all you guys in Dark Forest, thanks for being in here in the chat. All you other guys and people that were in here earlier as well. So thanks for showing up. We do really appreciate it. And as far as songs, Matt, what you got for your send-off?
Sure. I think I might have done this a long time ago, but I'm gonna do it again because I've been listening to it a lot.
Do it.
So here we are. Kingslayer featuring Baby Metal by Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay.
So
Nice.
it's just I keep coming back to the song over and over again. So it's nice. Heavy metal with Baby Metal and just doing their little like cutesy like Japanese
Fun stuff.
metal element. So
Yeah.
it's just a fun song. I just really enjoy it.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go back to old school too. Actually, to a band that I used to listen to a lot and were one of my favorite bands ever. And I still have been listening to some. My kids have actually totally fallen in love with them, especially my daughter, actually. And that's Sum 41.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Sum 41's great. And actually, they're still around. I think they're kind of on their way to kind of finally stopping, if I remember right.
Yeah, didn't they just do their like final
I
tour
think they
last
did
year?
do like a farewell or something. I kind of I wanted to go. I hate that I couldn't.
Yeah, they're here too.
Yeah,
I was in
know.
the same boat. I wanted to go.
I know. They're great. And they're one of those bands that just did a lot of interesting things. They actually pivoted more towards metal in the latter years, which was really cool.
Yeah.
They were more of like a pop punk band in their early years, but one of the things that always made them cool was they had a metal flair to them. And part of that was because one of their guitarists, the guy that they called Brown Sound, which was the black dude in the band, but he had left the band at one point to literally do a metal band because that was kind of where his passion was, which is why they always had metal riffs and things were really kind of chuggy. But anyway, so yeah, I kind of want to do just them as a whole, but I'll give one of their songs. I would say maybe we'll just do Still Waiting because that's one that a lot of people know. That was actually on like their third or fourth album, but it's a great one.
Yeah.
So yeah, just Still Waiting by Sum 41. They're still great. Still love them. They're just one of those bands that stuck around from the 2000s for a long time and just seem to be cool dudes.
Nice.
So yeah, some Sum 41 for you guys.
Nice.
But-
and then next week, I know we're doing Crit Hated, Fan Love.
That is being talked about. And we're going to talk about that. I'm trying to decide. I think one of these weeks this month, we're going to take off. I don't know which one. And so I do know that whatever we do this month, the next one we do, whether it's next week or the following, will be an critic hated, audience loved movie. We're talking about doing another. No, we're not doing Lilo and Stitch, Dark Forest. I do really want to see it actually, and I probably.
I will see that. I think I'll take my son to see that.
We'll
one.
probably go with the family. Who knows? But like take the kids and stuff. I know mine want to see it. I actually think it looks quite good.
Yeah.
Which is good for Disney to have something that's a success, hopefully, come out. Which, and obviously, Thunderbolts was really praised and loved, and it's had legs more than a lot of people were predicting. So it's at least maybe going to make its money back. Who knows? But so we'll see. But we are planning, and Caveat Ties is still wanting us to do Amadeus one of these days, not this time. We actually have been considering, because Chris has never seen it, doing 30 Days of Night, which is easily one of my favorite horror films ever. I think my favorite vampire movie ever. And I think Matt likes the movie a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I like the movie a lot.
We found out that it is critically bombed. The critics hated it, which is insane because it's a phenomenal movie. And since Chris hasn't seen it, that's another layer of fun to it to add something.
Sure.
Unless we can find something in this realm.
Well, we also talked 13 Ghosts.
We did talk 13 Ghosts.
Because that would be fun.
Also,
Yeah.
haven't seen that one.
You haven't? So
Yeah.
yeah, we were talking about a lot of those 2000s era horror movies because it turns out that a lot of them were critically hated and we all love them and think that they're very good.
Yeah.
So
I am curious what the highest rated by critics horror movie is out there.
I'm
Like
sure,
an actual horror movie.
right?
You know?
It's
That'd be
probably
fun.
something like fucking Midsummer or some
Or
shit.
it's something classic like
Right, like Halloween or
Yeah.
or probably things in that realm. It's going to be
Yeah.
something. If it's
Slashers are not horror. I hate to break it to you.
typically slashers,
not.
I don't consider very.
typically in the horror genre, they are.
That is very true.
I'm gonna say wrong.
That's Chris. Puts
Wait,
them in-
would you consider this horror?
No.
No.
This is
Okay.
just gore.
I just wanted to make sure that you were
Yeah.
not considering this horror because I know you
God,
didn't.
God no.
Yeah,
This is not horror. There's nothing horror about it.
yeah.
It is just
except
a
for the
gory
gore.
thriller
This is
about death.
This is a gory thriller about death. I mean, yeah, it's not super scary. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't really. I'm kind of with Chris, like as to what I consider actual horror. I mean, I'm not as far on the Chris train. I'm in the middle of you guys somewhere, but it's like
if it doesn't emotionally scar me
Yeah.
spiritually,
yeah.
then it's
I'm gonna
not
sit you
horror.
down and make you watch Cannibal Holocaust,
Oh God.
and then Green
I'm good.
Inferno, and then we're gonna party.
Well,
Okay.
listen, we made him watch The Void, and he struggled with that bad enough.
Yeah.
And he thinks that The Void is like the most terrifying.
That one fucked me up.
Yeah. That is an excellent film.
Yeah.
I watched it recently. We've been analyzing that one for a while because I got a good bit of our people to watch it,
Yeah.
and actually Hazel
For the users.
watched it, and she was analyzing it because we talk about it. It's a very interesting. The Void is an interesting film because it's like weirdly mellow and chill at the same time while being horrific, and it has this weird undertone to it. It's an odd.
It's just so Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
It is about as Lovecraftian as anything has ever been. So
Agreed.
yeah, but 30 Days a Night might be what we do next. I don't know if it'll be next week or the following or what the plan is. We'll keep you guys abreast on what's going on. I have a lot of crazy personal things going on right now. We're trying to sell a house, and it's gotten really. There's a lot involved, and so it's been eating up a lot of our time. And I found out it's Mike going to be eating up some of my time next week as well. So, anyways, there's we'll figure it out. But yeah, so that's been it for today, guys. We really appreciate all of you guys hopping in the chat, and we appreciate that you love me saying analyzing. So yes, I mean, that's how. If my southern accent comes out, then it's like analyzing. So, yeah, it depends.
There's no difference.
No,
You just said the same thing. twice.
Exactly. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's very true. There are so many things that I say that I was listening to my dad. We've been talking about me saying. I'm just gonna say how I say it. Tuesday. Tuesday. And I heard my dad say it recently, and I was like, I think he might say it like I say it. So
Like, some bitch is why I say it this
that's
way.
how I say it. Yeah. So I think which is a very British way to say it, which we found out I'm like 100% British. So
You got it in the roots.
yeah, it's probably in my
Dang,
roots.
red coat.
I know it for real. For real. Yeah. I really want to know. That's a bad thing about us Americans. We like none of us know our family
Just a
history.
mutt.
Shit. Yeah. We're all
Yeah.
a bunch- well, apparently I'm not a mutt. Apparently I'm very British.
Dude, my
but-
family love to fuck.
Let
Let me tell you, I'm a little bit everything.
Yep, exactly. Which we're still trying to figure out who the mailman was and why he came out so brown.
Yep.
But, how it
He was
goes.
a native,
He clearly was.
indigenous.
Definitely was. So, anyways, but guys, that's been it for today. This has been fun. This has been a good episode. I had a blast. Check out Final Destination if you haven't, and it's Bloodlines, that is. And we will be back soon. Everybody, take it easy. Later.
Go watch this movie, people.
Later.